findings. For the cognitive categories attested in Robo, we have about 4 of them. 4 were discovered, 4 cognitive categories. Number 1, diminutive. Number 2, augmentative. Number 3, frequentative, or what we call pluractionality. Number 4, intensification, or what we also call emphasis. Diminutive has to do with size, small, whether small or big. And in that, we have 6 of them that are very productive in Robo, 4 lexical diminutives and 2 prefixes. Then for augmentative, we have 3 of them. The first one is Rode, Ro and Buebu, or you can also call it Buru. Now with the Ro diminutive augmentative, we either add prefix or suffixes to it in order to get the grade or the size differences as it has to do with big. Now looking at the formation strategies in Robo, 3 were prominent. Number 1 is affixation, number 2 is reduplication, and the third one is compounding. What we have in affixation, we have affixes and suffixes. For reduplication, we have prefixal reduplication, which is that leads us to partial reduplication, and also we have total reduplication. Then for compounding, we have prefixal and suffixal compounding, where the words, the evaluative marker comes before the base, and also where the evaluative marker also comes after the base of the word. Then when we looked at syntax of evaluative morphology in Robo, we noticed that for the item to be a syntactic flow, we had to have the evaluative marker attached to the base. And we noticed that 2 things happened. We had a modification, because as soon as the evaluative marker, for example, small, OTT is added to the base, which is jigere, which is a bicycle, for example, we have a noun phrase. And if we have that noun phrase, it means that jigere, which is a bicycle, is a noun, and the syntactic analysis has become also a noun phrase and is also a noun. So there is no, what we have there is that the evaluative marker has modified the base and it has made it also a non-class changing status. That means once it is a noun, the evaluative is the class of the word class of the noun when we finally have the evaluative production. Also looking at the syntax of evaluative morphology in Robo, the cognitive categories were regrouped into semantic fields in order for us to be able to get what we are looking for in semantics, the meanings. And so 3 areas were prominent in the findings. Number 1 is size. Under size, we have diminutive, which has to do with size, small, and augmentative, size, big. So in size, we are looking at just 2 angles, the small and the big, as it has to do with Robo, with all the evaluative forms to mark them. Then also in semantics, we also looked at another item, which is value. When we talk about value, 2 things came to mind. One is endearment, and the other one was pejorative. Sometimes you use some words to give some expressions that are either endearment or pejorative. For instance, in the language, if you say Oshari, Oshari is a man. Then if you say Oshari Otete, you're kind of saying a small man. And it doesn't flow well when you say a small man to a man, someone who is an adult and is a man. And if you even want to pejorate it the more, you want to make the person seem if it is similar, you can just say, to know. That means it's not worth anything in the expression of the evaluative marker used. That is, tiny man. It's insulting when you tell a man, a full-grown man, that he is tiny. So that is on the value judgment. Then for intensity, 2 things were also looked at. Pluractionality, which is repeated events, which we called through verbal repetitions. Then another thing we also looked at in intensity is emphasis, using expressive markers to give some kind of emphasis, especially when we're looking at reduplication. You can use reduplication to give some kind of emphasis or intensity when you are making some explanations. Now, contribution to knowledge, the area of evaluative morphology tends to be novel because little words, according from my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, have been done in evaluative morphology. So one of the contributions is that it's going to add to the literature and to the grammar of Robo language and the grammar of languages in general. Recommendation is that since it's novel, there are other areas one can also look at. Apart from the morphological aspect, we can look at evaluative morphology, we can look at evaluative pragmatics, and other areas like evaluative lexicon, evaluative syntax, evaluative semantics on its own. And since there's the saying that your language is you, it is very, very, it is of this understanding that I say that linguists should research more in evaluation in language so as to have great documentation in the grammar of various languages.
Thank you very much. Going to do a presentation. Presentation is excellent. Get the kind of response that people get now. It shows that you are in charge. It shows authority you are in charge. Those are the kind of presentations we see in graduate school. Never mind, she's one of us. That's not to preempt your scores for her. The presentation is fine. Okay, topic.
She doesn't have topic on her slide. Her slide.
Okay, so first page of your PowerPoint. You pointed that it's not there. First page.
Okay, wow.
Yes.
So why is it not there here?
It's not on her slide. What's the way? No one understand.
Just make sure it is there. It's still part of what we are saying now. If they take it. I don't just tell the typist, store it for me. And after saving it, collect the flash drive or whatever I'm working with. Let's open it again, let me see. Okay. Abstract. Sorry, topic first, topic. It's appropriate, we let go. Okay, abstract.
I want to clarify something about it. It's global language that people.
The language.
Presents both
Repeating words in the language.
Abstract.
on the abstract.
Yes.
I read the meaning of that. It's the same discussion. I didn't find the problem of the study in your abstract. Okay.
Because you solved the problem.
Let's see the problem, then we see how to solve. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have SIL. I think you should have written it first. What do you mean of SIL?
Someone is still the language.
So it's full.
I want to just say something. It doesn't, that was the whole name. They are just known now as SIL.
Okay, okay, you know what? I was looking out for a recommendation. Actually, I want to find out. Does recommendation mean exactly the same thing as suggestion for further study?
No.
And so what you have is suggestion for further study.
Yes. Actually, matter of fact, I observed that in your presentation.
at the tail end of your presentation, I observed that you actually did not make a recommendation. You made your statement referred to further suggestions for research. That is very true.
Okay.
And then when you stay here and there, you just do that.
Okay.
For instance, you have okay, sorry, on that problem too, I have a reading
Okay.
on page 493. That sentence actually started on page 3. You were stating the problem and then the job, jointly, sorry, jointly and Wagner, 1980 and 1984, are they the ones that found that patients are doing it? They are the founders of the problem of study. You copy the problem of study from them, or you saw the problem of the study from these sources.
Talking about expressive meanings, they were the ones who actually wanted to know what expressive meanings are. And so some of them delved into the particular study, so it's not necessary.
Your problem is just in about 11 lines, and this source decided this the teacher decided out to 10. I'm just wondering how. You should be able to state the problem without it. That does not mean that you cannot cite anyway. But it looks as if you are citing the problems these people found out. It should be a problem you saw. Yeah, you can, even though you can support your arguments.
But you still have an answer. His question about the problem. What is the problem that you actually? Okay, are you satisfied? Sir? Are you satisfied?
She said she has. You found that works for your
Yes,
global.
but yeah, evaluating is in the rope, yes. Expressive.
Aim and objective.
That describe has come up again. So look for how to technical work
Yes,
is
so
there.
analyze.
Please. Remove the while. Just say full stop. The objectives are to.
Okay.
Once you do that,
Small letter.
you know that all those ones will follow in small letters.
Small letter.
Yes, yes.
Research question. Align significance.
Sorry, on the first question, I think you can vary the words because you kept using what. Yeah, you can vary it to what extent. Some of the words questions may not necessarily elicit what you even want to get.
This significance just each one or two at the level of this PowerPoint. Not as many as you just because if you look at them there, you discover that they are not, some may not be practical or theoretical. Let me figure what I mean. If you take them analytically and look at it, you will see that some may not stand as significant either practical or theoretical. So just hit two each. Merge them, can even merge. You have those two each.
Okay. Scope. Literature review.
Before that, sir, there's a section in chapter 1, I think we need to move entirely. That 1.7. 1.7 here is the language and the people / speakers. Everything from there should move to chapter 3, maybe under area of study. Every single thing from there. So in line with Bible school format.
Please, can you take that again?
1.7.
What page is that?
From 1.7 to
What
1.8.4 to chapter 3, under area of study.
1.7 to 1.8.
Now she has brief history of speakers, geographical location and population of nation, aspects of plenty things on that.
So 1.7
The
to
aspect of
1.8.
growth phonology. It can move to, it can move to area of study.
So, but I don't think it should be in chapter 1. I don't know, please those in language should know. But I think there's a format already for chapter 1.
Yes, there
Sure.
is, but I think that, for instance, in the research, you need to give a background of the sound system of the
Where
language.
does it come in? That's
You usually put it in chapter 1, because your chapter 4 has to do with the main work. So that gives us, helps us to understand the data you present
so where in chapter 1?
after you have finished the significance.
Scope.
Yes.
Okay, it can be 1.8.
Sorry, Prof.
But that does
So
not mean, doesn't mean that everything we have here should remain in chapter 1.
No, the one about the study area is going to.
Sorry. There was a question Dr. Ariboko asked earlier. If Urobo is a people or a language, you said it's both. If you look at your scope, you will see that you said this research is based on. Where I had issue was word based. I was thinking there is a better word you can use at level of scope of the study. I was thinking that it's not based on. But now I'm seeing that it said on the Agbaru. Okay, now Agbaru. Oh, we say there. Okay. So Agbaru dialect is different from Urobo language. If you read further, are you seeing it?
Dialects of the Yoruba language.
Good.
So identify it now not just as a general phenomenon, but as a language.
Language.
Yes. In this aspect. Yes.
Okay. So Agbaru is a dialect
It's a yes. It's a
spoken inside by Yoruba people.
yes.
The aspect of the
Dialect
language.
is the writing script for Yoruba language.
That's the standard.
That's the standard. Yes.
Okay. So
Did
look
you
at
say
that
Agbaru
word
is a
based
dialect?
Yes.
Did you say Agbaru is a dialect?
Yes. It's a dialect of
Or Robo?
yes.
Ah.
You don't know, your
There's
wife is
Okwe,
from there. you don't
there's
know.
Okwe, then there's
My
Okwe
wife is
dialect.
not from there. My wife is from Bayelsa.
Chairman, yes, I help us. What is the central Yoruba dialect that is used to represent the people, maybe in casting news? What's it called?
Agbaru dialect.
But Abar is a particular dialect for a particular group of people.
Is the dialect used for writing. The
I
standardized
think it's clear.
dialect.
We have a similar situation in the book.
Yes, yes.
Well, because why I'm asking him, he just mentioned that of Ogoni. Let me say that of Igbo or Yoruba. In Igbo, you have Igbo language.
Most
Then you have you usually hear what he said.
Yes.
Most
Zube.
there's etc.
Yeah,
What is the study?
Yes.
No, it has a name, but does not belong to somebody.
Somebody.
Oh, okay. Well, ours belongs to a particular, it has a name belonging to a
Maybe it's not standard yet.
Standard.
Listen, when the main languages of Nigeria, three of them, this Hausa, Yoruba, when they started having the preference to have a standard, the one that Igbo was using is the Omomo phonology. The Omomo is the one that, but now, it's the place where they are talking about. Now they have a different name.
Maybe this one is
Except
better.
yours are normal.
From literatures and everything. it's not right.
Okay.
Sorry, information. Sorry, information. Let me give you information on that. Now, it may not be the same language. There are languages that may allow a particular form to represent all of the forms, and they take that as a standardized form of the language.
What the supervisor of the French will do is that we are in a university, we don't assume And listen, and when you are doing a study like this, you must go above the ordinary. See, around the world, I just told you about national. Huh? We had Professor Eminem Job from Aba. We have Professor Jella is here. See, I'm not saying that it's from there. That's where the school there. See, the whole world. In China, you have languages, yet you have Mandarin. So there is a word quoted and built in that becomes the standard. It doesn't come represent a particular group like I was listening to you I said, oh, the point now brought before the Igbos made their own other Igbo, up and go. So
See, when these things are properly done, we move very fast. You see how we are moving fast. Empirical review. Yes.
Does she need to still say empirical review continued? No. Just literature review continued, but empirical review remains. So remove the continued here.
Summary of literature review. What's the gap in the theoretical framework we are talking about?
Okay, all works studied under evaluating methodology didn't use any kind of any form of theoretical framework. Nothing is against theoretical framework.
That's not the gap.
There's not a gap.
That's not the gap. The gap we're looking for. Having reviewed this literature, these works, these authors or scholars, nobody has ever done something on. That's where that problem was asking that she didn't see it's coming from. This is not of the problem. That's it. So that you now create that gap and fill it by this your work. No, I don't really think anybody has done anything on the anything of
So it's not.
So that's another.
So that means that there's no gap in theoretical framework. Theoretical frameworks are established frameworks on which you are basing your research. They are already established. So to say there is no established, because you already talked about theoretical framework. So those are already established. It's not a gap.
So what she's trying to say is that those that looked at evaluative morphology
So it's not a gap. Don't say your
did
gap.
not hinge it on anything.
After this literature, all this is what we discovered. That's the person slacking.
They didn't have to do anything. So that's what she's trying to do.
Even that's bullet 4. That bullet 4 and 5. You still see it there. You said none of the empirical review employed theoretical framework. So it's not a gap. It's not.
I think there's another dimension to it. From what Dr. Biku I just said.
Okay, I think what she's trying to say is there have been other works on evaluative morphology in other languages, but not couched within any framework. And then secondly, there has been no work on evaluative morphology in Urobo.
That's okay.
So she's doing that in Urobo and also putting it within, looking at it through the lenses
Of this theory.
theory.
So no man can use this.
No. So those are the two
I think it's
things.
in order.
It's okay.
But it needs to be more explicit in the way you
Put it well. Like the way you do that, you make both blood ones, they are same thing. You make those two last ones. Make them.
Methodology. Methodology.
So your methodology, your method of data collection stroke instrumentation, that's what it is. Instrumentation, yes. You cited SIL comparative, SIL comparative African World Peace. That is a publication, but the reference is not there. That word list has a ref, so please include the reference for that word. It's a published work. Method of data collection.
Results and discussions. Results and discussions. Leave that to the experts. Summary of findings.
Please, don't forget that discussions, results and discussions. We have spoken that before. Well, my problem is your arrangement. Sec. Yes, page before, last page, page 34. Contributions came before recommendation. So you take that contribution to the back, to the extreme, while you put your recommendation first. Page 34 and 35. So recommendations comes first before contributions to knowledge.
Okay, so summary, conclusion, and recommendation. Conclusion, again, making us the same error.
Probably the seen it in that graduate school.
It's in the format. Yes. We've corrected it here before.
Corrected it here.
And
Conclusion. Contributions to knowledge.
So the second one, the observations made on evaluative morphology records evaluative forms in morphosyntax and morphosemantics in the grammar, I should think in the grammar of Rome, instead of in the grammatical aspect. 34, yes, second bullet point, that's the second contribution. So you're telling us that with your analysis, you have identified evaluative forms, which are the morphosyntax, and also play out in the morphosemantics of the grammar, not in the grammatical aspect. Do you see that? Yes. In the grammar.
Okay, I think we.
Prof, I just looked and saw that Prof is our supervisor. And since the chief priest that loses them is not here, this one I want to do for myself. So let her be loose, please, chairman. Let her be loose. If you have seen Prof's name that since we have been doing that,
I want to keep having
Prof, I see your handwork.
What is that?
Our presentation was super.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the presentation.
Is that good?
Yes. Now you see excellence. You respect excellence. And I appreciate you. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. The next one. We would like to make a special appeal after this next person. We want to take somebody in philosophy whose slides will be by what time? Very soon by 1 o'clock. We don't want him to miss his slides. Please. We just appeal after this presentation. After this one. Vivian. Yes. Who is supervisor?
My esteemed lecturers, pediatrics, women, and my presentation is on.
Audience, please.
Please, let's have one house. Let's have one house.
I'm moving very fast.
And my presentation is on antenatal below the line media advocacy for exclusive breastfeeding, knowledge, attitude, practices of nursing mothers in Ghana, Rivers State. I got motivated into this work after my numerous visits to patients that were admitted in different hospitals, in health centers, and I noticed that they prefer using information, education, communication materials or below the line media like posters, flyers, stickers, and handbills to give nursing mothers information, both nursing and pregnant women. The objectives are to find out the level of awareness of Ghana nursing mothers on exclusive breastfeeding resulting from their exposure to below the line media or EIC materials. The second is to ascertain the extent of knowledge they have on exclusive breastfeeding. Third is to investigate the extent they practice exclusive breastfeeding arising from the information they got from IEC materials. Fourth is to examine their attitude towards antenatal advocacy on exclusive breastfeeding resulting from exposure to IEC materials. The next is to find out the hindrances associated with the practice of exclusive breastfeeding by nursing mothers in Ghana from their exposure to IEC materials, and then to identify if there are other sources of information they get on exclusive breastfeeding aside IEC or below the line media. The study is hinged on three theoretical frameworks: social learning theory, functional attitude theory, social cognitive theory. And these theories are all related to how people form attitude and develop knowledge. The research design, the survey research design was adopted, and it is suitable for the study because it enables the researcher to examine major characteristics such as attitude, motive, opinion, among others. It was also suitable because it enabled the researcher to describe, analyze, and explore the responses, opinion, and attitude of nursing mothers in Ghana with regard to antenatal advocacy towards exclusive breastfeeding of babies. The target population of the study comprised all the registered nursing mothers residing in Kana local government area of Rivers State. And as at the time of the study, the registered population was 1,226 nursing mothers. To determine the sample or sample size, we used the Creasy and Morgan sampling table, and from there a total of 376 respondents were established as the sample or sample size. And then the sampling, in the sampling, we use the multi-stage sampling procedure to determine the size. Multi-stage sampling method try to divide the population into clusters or groups. And at the first, Kana was divided into wards, districts, and 8 wards were selected. It was repeated at the community
Can you
stage.
please speak to your work? Speak to that work and stop reading every single word.
Okay, sir.
We have 4 minutes left.
The findings. The findings are follows. Majority of the nursing mothers in Ghana are exposed to exclusive breastfeeding, but only a handful said, they know about it a few times. Second findings is that the nursing mothers in Ghana have high level of knowledge on exclusive breastfeeding as displayed on the IEC materials. Also found out that many of them do not use the information they get or they got from the materials to practice the stipulated 6 months. And from the responses, it was also revealed that they have negative attitude towards exclusive breastfeeding, as they saw it as stressful or it will affect their physique and all that. And then also we found out that cultural stroke religious factors and then career was also, an hindrances to their practice of exclusive breastfeeding. And we also noticed that there are other sources, recommendation. We recommended our government and our agencies should consider using multimedia approach to disseminate information about exclusive breastfeeding. The second recommendation is that they should continue to create a more entertaining and enlightening information. The third is that government should engage the services of opinion leaders to go on advocacy visits to nursing mothers, and this will help to crystallize the information that is to be disseminated. Also suggested that or recommended that serious campaign should be embarked on highlighting the importance and benefit of exclusive breastfeeding. Contribution to knowledge. the study of it, from the study, we're able to find that the study has contributed to knowledge by revealing ways that communication channels and EIC materials can be indeed used to encourage exclusive breastfeeding. Theoretically, it has enhanced the use of the cognitive theory as a yardstick for the development of exclusive breastfeeding.
Let's look at our topic. Okay.
Understand your position, you are trying to examine or study a particular media advocacy known as below the line media advocacy. So, Chairman, it's on that basis that I try to look at the topic to read awareness of below the line media advocacy for exclusive breastfeeding and attitudinal practices of nursing mothers in Kana local government, because he said Kana. But at some point, I begin to open up to the local government. So the topic should capture it in Kana local government area from our River State. I looked at this and I looked at. Yeah.
We leave that to the experts.
When you're bringing awareness, there's no need. She's looking at the cap.
And then, okay, what about include Kana AGA? Yes, Kana local government area. It will not go beyond.
Kana is not the town. It's not the community.
Yes. And he kept talking about the AGA too, so then we will now include the Kana local government area. Yeah. Yes, so Kana, then we take the Kana local government if the experts say you should stay that way.
Now, if you put that, you see that the number of wells that is
no, it will not go more than 18.
It's not that
18. It will
Kana.
not go beyond 18. Just
Is there Kana as a town in Kana?
It's not whether it is or not. What is not expected as
Yes. But what I'm saying is that Kana, is there Kana in Kana local government?
we have answered that. Even if there is,
There's no Kana.
what the topic is stated and saying is the LGA, that's what is studying, and he didn't find it stated on that topic. So let it be put. If he then asks in the 18 words, if the 3, it's 15 already, 15 years, if you have 3, you still be accommodated.
This can you see what you are saying?
Now,
Let's us get
Kana local government area.
Yes.
Kana. Even if we take AGA, yeah, Kana AGA, because he's studying the local, and he kept mentioning that in her presentation.
So what are you recommending?
He said that LGA should be on the topic. That's what he's saying.
Kana
But
AGA
the first
University.
thing he said is that awareness, that the ratio of this study is about awareness. So Chairman now said that experts should be the ones to determine that, those of you. But at least for this one now, our brother then said that if you put LGA, that is, no, first LCM, language wise is your brother. I think it's your brother. So that if you put LGA, that the words will be more than 18. I said no, it will be accommodated.
But let's take AGA.
The Kana can stand because there is no term called Kana.
But like with this Kana as it stands, will it be understood?
Yes.
If it will be understood, why do we need the LGA there again?
Properly understood. Bro, there's no community in that government called Kana. No other place, there's nothing like Kana. Kana is Kana.
We are not doing this work for the people alone. This is not for the whole world.
In the main work, it is specified.
Topic is very important. Main work or no main work. What is the topic?
The words will be
That's where we are. There wants to be too many.
It's 18, it's not many. 18 is
so we can put
Yes.
It's one word.
Below the line is one
Below
word.
the line is one word.
Knowledge, attitude, practice.
It's one word. If she does that and if she did that and it was accepted, so they're all one word.
Let's.
Please.
So we should leave it as
Just add the SDA.
So how many words do we have now?
Just like the one
Below the line is one word.
Below the line is
Knowledge, attitude, practice is one word. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. LGA to 18. So you put local government area.
Okay, so we put local government area. We put local government area.
Okay.
Where is
All right,
noted?
noted.
Let's move on, please.
This is
Let's move on.
noted.
Okay.
Any
And then,
other?
still on that page, still on the cover page, when you do PhD, PhD doesn't accept any full capital letters or true. Even if you want to do in caps, the H will step down to lowercase. The same thing where you said etc submitted, and then
Should be a seminar.
yeah, a seminar submitted, and then the PhD there should be lowercase h, and then as you correct, also correct that you finally presented in November and not October.
Also your degrees, BSc, something like PG.
Yeah, PDG,
PGG. So
BSc, PGG,
PGG,
MA, UPH.
So, Chairman, yes, sir. In line with what is being said, looking at the red number of the candidate, I just want to ask flatly, is she done with her coursework?
She's doing full time, she's not a staff. She's FT.
You see, Chairman, you know why we're asking that question? Why we're asking that question is that in 2022, we were on strike. For how many years? Months. 8.5 months. If you minus it from between now and that time, you don't even have up to 18 months. So she's at that's a faculty defense. Okay, so she has been here for that's what we want to hear.
I finished my course for 20 minutes.
So that you don't go there and they say kickback.
So what do we agree about the topic? What do we agree about?
Yes, she includes Ghana.
Because I listened when they asked you whether there is Ghana in Ghana LGA. Is that Ghana in Ghana LGA? No, there's no Ghana. It's a language group. It's a language group of LGA.
But she studied at AGA.
So are you abbreviating
well,
the LGA?
Well, yeah, well, at least.
Even if you leave it in full, it's still accommodated. But I am not too sure about that. The people of LCS, God is kind that they are many here. I checked inside the book, inside this book, at, for example, the aim and objectives, and I find that I'm even going forward. The work is not paginated. We are not there yet. We're looking at topic. I'm saying that if you look at the aim, if you look at so those words, there are no those compound words. If you look at the concept here, you don't have hyphen between them, so they are not hyphenated. So we are where are we, madam? Which one is the right one? Look at your aim and objective. See the first, the second line there. So you have knowledge attitude, no hyphen. Then you also have the first one about the below the line. No, we are not on this, we are not there, we're looking at the topic. We are worried about the topic. So I'm saying that, assuming we now say yes, that it's okay, so we to put the LGA, that let us be sure, yeah, and then the knowledge attitude, that there are concepts and they are within accepted. That's why I asked LCS people to determine it. We only help it.
So, sir, Prof, if I understand you correctly, you are trying to establish if that compound word is used all through the work as is.
as it is on the top.
Yes, that's what we.
Whether it is hyphenated.
Yes.
Yes, for the two of them, below the line and knowledge attitude.
No, below the line basically is a concept as understood in communication. Below the, yes.
Right,
So yes, that one is excellent. Maybe the supervisor should throw more light on this.
So when you say
Knowledge, attitude, practice.
Yes, you can handle them differently.
not
Objectives, yes.
Right.
But what you do is it's an approach to research.
See, that is what, even though we've not got inside, Chairman, see, for a topic as this, we are always very careful. We are a university. We are not getting ourselves by ourselves within our own enclave. Medical college and their practice and knowledge, they also have hand. It is a breastfeeding. Can you see that? It's one word, breastfeeding. You look at the topic there. Exclusive breastfeeding. Is this also separated? When we go inside the world, you are talking about exclusive being within 6 months. And then the understanding of that without water and other. But let's leave that one to you and your because so we're saying on this topic, that's where we are. Your supervisor just said knowledge, attitude would not go with hyphen. Is that how you saw it as we are researching? Well, what did you say?
I said that it's in the middle of the side.
Yeah, we know, but how is written? How is written? When you write it, you have a method or card. The chairman, you have him. Card.
Let's try and be on one page. Let's start with one breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is not one word, right? Breastfeeding.
No, in usage of if you go to medical school, sometimes it's used as a word, breastfeeding. It's just like when you say head onset. For us, those of us in cultural studies, you also have it, because these are concepts. Yeah, so it's one word for that word. The one we are talking about is the knowledge attitude.
Excuse me, Chairman, please. If you look at that word, if we read it and it says knowledge, attitude, practices. It didn't say knowledge, attitude, and practices. It says knowledge, attitude, practices, which is just like what do I call it now? It's like a directory. It's like a directory and can go for one word. Knowledge, attitude, practices, not knowledge, attitude, and practices. Because if you take it that way, that means one word. So that we don't waste time. Don't move. Yes, that's what I'm saying. When you look at them, there's a connection already.
But his argument is for the right of the scholar.
No, this is good for the topic.
Both
For the topic.
and within the
work.
When we get into that objective, we will look at it also. It depends on the usage. So that we don't waste a lot of time. Yes.
Knowledge, attitude,
Yes.
practices. The hyphen is very appropriate.
It's appropriate.
Okay, what about practices?
We get to it's one word.
Knowledge, attitude, practice.
There's one word there.
Knowledge, attitude, practices. So we remove the hyphen in attitude, practices.
He's saying that knowledge, attitude, practices is one word.
It's one word.
That's one word. The topic, yes. It's correct.
Without a hyphen, yes.
No, with the hyphen.
The hyphen is correct. It's correct and it's
Okay. I'm coming to that. And I want to start with the antenatal below the line media advocacy. If we take out the other part, if we say antenatal below the line or antenatal below the line media advocacy, antenatal will become an adjective. If we take out the other part and say antenatal below the line, the antenatal will become an adjective that is qualifying the below the line. But here, both are used as adjectives. Antenatal adjective, below the line is also adjective because it's qualifying media advocacy. So I want us to be clear with that. Then, having established that, we now come to that breastfeeding is actually used here as one word and it's perfectly okay. Knowledge hyphen attitude hyphen practices will become a compound word because all three are hyphenated. It is different from what I think that she wants to study here. I did a work in with people in pharmacy who were trying to look at the knowledge of what they call tetanus oxide, availability of tetanus oxide, what we call tetanus, and how people's knowledge and awareness of the danger and risk of this organism shapes their attitude towards immunization and all of that, and how this knowledge that shapes their attitude conditions medical practice. So if that is what she's establishing now, it means that she's trying to see whether their knowledge of the benefits of breastfeeding affects their attitude to breastfeeding and how this shapes the practice. If it is so, then it will not be hyphenated because she's looking at their knowledge, their attitude, and the practices.
Yes. Although antenatal is not always adjective. Antenatal is a noun. Antenatal means I'm coming. No, you see, you even alluded to it. Maybe you have a baby. If antenatal means for women, when they are going up, actions taken before birth.
They have antenatal, prenatal, and natal.
Fine, they are not adjectival.
Antenatal is adjective.
When you have antenatal, you can use that as
if they say antenatal clinic.
No, don't stand. Don't stand up. Sit down. Sit down so that you can hear me well. Antenatal. Somebody say, I'm going for my antenatal. Is adjective now? Is a noun. Are you getting me?
Antenatal visit.
No. If you say, a woman can tell you, today is my antenatal. It's a noun. But you can use it in an identifiable manner to hold something that you are still trying to qualify. So that's the point I'm making.
So, what are we agreeing on? I have a different here. Antenatal. And this is Merriam-Webster. Antenatal, adjective. Chiefly British. It means prenatal. Antenatal diagnosis of birth is adjective.
Did you not hear what I said?
It's never a noun.
I said that in usage,
that's colloquial.
No, wait, hold on.
Colloquial.
Hold on. We asked the professionals, the LCS people.
They know now.
No, wait, no. They are not experts in medical terms.
Are not experts.
No, in medical terms. I said that in a study like this, that a student, a PhD student should try to liaise, to work with some medical, like you did that program. I am almost inside pharmacy. You know, my office is inside pharmacy. I've been with them for years. My wife is a pharmacist. So I'm telling you that antenatal, for when you say I'm going for antenatal, you understand? It sounds no, it doesn't. It's not colloquial. It stands as a noun. However, if you wanted to qualify something, you can use it as an adjective. Ordinarily, because it's
man's usage we adopt is the academic usage.
No. It is medical part. All right, okay.
So I'm just reading one word, okay? Knowledge, attitude, practices.
It's not a noun.
Huh? One word. So the topic is the appropriate attitude. So we leave it as it is, right? Okay, abstract. I put the idea, right? Okay.
Let us remove the bullet here.
Yeah, remove the bullet there.
Also, we are beginning to see another parenthesis in abstract. Let them be removed in abstract, then you go to background to study institutional research. And then in abstract there, chairman, you can see what will be arguing. Now it's becoming clear. That's why I say, even when you go to end and the objective, you see on line 10, you see mothers in Ghana LGA to show you what she's studying. And that's why we wanted it to be there. Julius, are you following me? Fine.
The abstract started with aim. I think it's wrong. Said the aim of this study. This is a complete study. You've completed already. So your study investigated something. I said you report in the past because you already concluded the work before you wrote the abstract. You started with the aim of this study. It was to investigate investigated. Then IEC too, you don't know the meaning and it's not stated there.
Right with food, as it is now, your abstract can take 350 words. Your abstract can take 350 words as is permitted now. The APA 7th edition going forward. So you can make it
on line 4. Okay, this is on line 4.
Sorry, ma'am. The book of the abstract in the past is, and I think it's not always been the past. I still use the same letters to get the abstracts. This public investigates is still allowed. Not
allowed, but that's the first aim of we're talking about look at trends of every part. I think it's pathology. Look at trends of every part. So should we look at trends, not look at trends of every part?
Let me ask you a question. At least, see if our people here will, help us to get it right. What's the purpose of an abstract on a write-up like this, on a seminar, or anywhere posted? What's the purpose of an abstract? Please, who has this? An answer to this?
What do you say?
The purpose of an abstract.
Abstract is a super summary of a thesis. Yeah.
Executive.
No, if you are using the word executive, it will as if it's restricted to higher authority, something like that. Why you prefer to use super is that it brings the highlight, the major issues, keys of that very discussion.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to address the point we have always been seeing here, in recent times. Most times now, the abstracts are coming from AI, and they are not pruned. So, AI will always start in a particular format. We need to let them know that you need to introduce the topic you are writing on. You need to introduce it. If the introduction takes like 3 lines, overview, then the problem, statement of problem, there must be a problem identified, shown in the abstract. Then let us know how you plan doing it. Not just telling us what you have done or how you started, without telling us a problem, stating a problem, because we know that all research, solves a problem. Every research solves a problem. That's just what I wanted to do. As it has come from us now, I hope the others will also have learned from it.
Shabba, kindly provide, because we have to write on our tradition as a faculty. At some point, we have led the way in this university in this regard. Seminar series and then, of course, doctoral service. We have formula for presenting abstracts. There are varieties, though. But POMP, the one we call POMP, is most favored. So when the students are guided with that, so you have the problematic, bringing you to some information on the background to the study. And then you have the objective. We initially, when I first was introduced to academics, objective will cover aim and objective.
Yes, exactly.
So now after that, you have the methodology, how you went about doing that work.
That's it.
And then the findings. After the findings, you now have those things that are the bottom lines, the summary conclusive statements, maybe one or two. And then the contribution, if you have a major, some people may not have major contribution to knowledge. Like when she was presenting, she was almost like giving recommendation. You can do that. So if you don't have, recommendation can still carry you through. So that will come. If there is a vista, you put it. As I just said, APA 7 to 12th edition will allow 350 words to come into abstract. So you box yourself in if you have just that.
Okay. Depending on the format you want to adjust in this level. Because you have to say there are varieties in terms of how to write an abstract. So the most important thing is that the essential elements they must be there. Let the essential elements be there. We say we want to use the statements, the study, the problem, and all of that. We can adopt that, but I don't know whether it is something like a universal format for abstract.
No. Madam Vivian, please should know what you mean by essential things. There are these slides that you have here. The slides. So you open first, you see the background, that's a slide. You open a statement to the problem, that's a slide. So you draw, and that's what the man was thinking about. You draw the very important point there. And then next one, aim and objective. Like that, till the end. That's those are the essentials. We're not talking about access.
So that means you write your abstract.
Please, the format of writing an answer changes over time. Now, if you take the distribution into abstract written by many scholars, you will observe one that they will have, like you pointed out, what motivated the study. Two, they will have the end. Except on proposal abstract, you don't need to write the objectives. You just say the end. After the end, you tell us about the theories you do. After the theories you tell us about the research design. After the research design, you tell us about the population. You tell us about the sample size and sampling technique. Then you move ahead and tell us the findings. Then after the findings, you can draw a simple conclusion and make a recommendation. The findings should not be all. The silent ones will be used, the key ones. Then also, in the case of recommendation, don't use all. One is enough. Two, enough. Don't let it complain.
All right, Chairman, I can help finally. About 3 years to 4 years ago, Chairman, a few years ago, two of us were asked to do something like this. I will give you what I wrote, like a paper, sticking to these manners of presentation. It was me and Dr. who were asked to do that. So it can be, that's why I said we should ride on our tradition. We wouldn't be reinventing the wheel. I do know that programs vary. LCS may not be the same as fine arts. Fine arts may not be the same as philosophy. However, the university wants to streamline these things, and that's what we have done. If there are new injections, the professor should also be able to add such. Okay.
Let's go that way. We will start with maybe we'll put it on the platform for them. We'll outline it out and put it on the platform. Starting with the background to the study. Just short, 2 or 3 lines. Three lines. In the problem, the objective, or the aim, the method, and all of that. We'll write it out and put it on the platform. But again, I hope they will follow the abstract as we are going to recommend, so that they don't do something different. Okay, background to the study. Okay, who are the main work? Okay.
The same thing, work was for different abstracts for different. The abstract is not the same with the abstract in the PowerPoint. The abstract here is different from one in the PowerPoint. So you check when you go back to work.
So he has a different abstract and a PowerPoint.
So which one is better? Because we're talking about the abstract. Yes, so which one do you think is
This one is an upgrade to what she has here.
Same thing because the PowerPoint is not good. They didn't go back to the real work.
because I said she should.
You have to be painstaking, before you go. And when you come in here, don't tell us the typist. Hold you responsible to ensure that you do all the proofreading. Yes, sir.
Last bullet.
Last bullet.
Sorry, that's second page. Page 4. To examine below the line media IEC advocacy. IEC has not been defined. I don't know whether it's in the main text. What is IEC? Is it in the main text before abbreviation?
Find it after. IEC was defined after.
Because it's not written in the background in your PowerPoint. So infuse it. Madam? You have to infuse it. You have to add it. Add it before that, so that it will guide whoever is reading your work.
Mr. Chairman, you may have me talking many times. Pardon me. I don't always have time to join you. But as I said, what we gain so far, we won't be losing so fast.
That's right.
If you look at the background, what do you expect to see at the background? Let the candidate, let the scholar only work from the beginning at the background. First of all, if you look at the first bullet, you see that that is the citation of something happening somewhere, not even in Africa. Madam, are you a mother? Are you a mother? Yes or no? Have you ever had a baby? Yes or no? Simple. Alright, let me leave that. You see, such things are very important when bringing background, because it's from there that we check the challenge, the problem.
Information, please. Let me inform. I want to inform that certain questions are personal.
You left that
Don't
one.
ask if it's a mother or she breastfeeds.
Yeah, we didn't ask for that. Once you didn't answer, I left that one because I sense that's the case. When you are being examined and for your good, you have to be part of that party. Don't play by the gallery. See, when we were talking earlier concerning to antenatal, I said I have experience. I even asked you, I'm sure. You see, when you go to antenatal, for example, it's like one of the things they do. I read the paper. It's funny. They say, clap for God. You clap, and then finally clap for God at home. And then those pregnant women. Background to the study. What motivated you to do the work? It's not about what some people are saying. In this canal, for example, in this canal, did you see some people taking wrong steps? You know, being affected by perceptions. Because that's your worry. So media kids or stuff like that. What was the motivation? I didn't see that at the background. So you can see what we are doing is to add up. We are not here to like look at your persona, but it helps you. You are actually you and your supervisor. When we are in a family, we behave as if we are in a family. Chairman, go. Thank you, sir.
This study is not about perception. It's not a perception study. This work is looking more in terms of the advocacy program, campaigns of the media, below the line media. We need to understand what we are saying and put it in context. As far as this work is concerned, are we following? So, please, I want us to look at the discussion, because if I am looking at the background, the only thing I have not seen clearly, perhaps, is the real motivation. You know, that's just the major thing. Can you just tell us the motivation? Because that is what Prof is actually happy.
About what happens in maternity English and whatever of that. You got the posters, leaflets, and whatever.
Like I said, that what got me into studying this work is, from my numerous visits to health centers, when I visited people that were on admission, I noticed that they use below the line media, or also referred to as information, education, communication materials, to pass information. When you enter business centers, you see them paste it, sometimes give flyers to the women, they take it home, or post posters to them, handbills for them to take it home and all that. So that got me thinking, why would the Ministry of Health, allow that? That was why I decided to go into this.
Sorry, about this same background. I know it's a trend, but I don't want to, of course, I just trying to be committing. I thought that background should tell us more about the existing state of affairs that, stimulated you to get into the work. But I noticed that many of the works we have looked at, the one I read, you just see them, cite here, cite them, and then you are writing on Choba. You have not said anything about Choba. We don't even know the existing state of affairs in Choba. And then you're telling us all the things that are happening in the US, in the UK, what this scholar said, what that scholar said. I think it's usually too much. Yes, and at the end of the day, nobody has told us that in Choba market, this is what is going on, and that is what is happening, and this is what is leading to, and this is why I'm getting into this. I know this is a trend, at least from the few I've read. They just focus delve so much into literature and not tell us what is happening where they are studying.
It's very important. Very important. When we write we write the background study. We begin with the historical, something more historical, and the contextual nature of the discussion. Then from there, at the end of that discussion, we tell us about the motivation, the lacuna. What is missing that what you feel? Even though somebody that motivates your study, why did you decide to go into the research? Why did you research on, or why are you researching on this topic rather than not another topic as such? That's something motivated you, something triggered your interest in this study. So you must identify what triggers you. But begin with, first of all, with that contextual background, that historical background. Okay? Begin more from the general, then bring it down
to the specific,
particular.
Yes.
Begin with the general, then look at the particular. Tell us what is happening internationally, then bring it down to the Africa and the Nigerian situation, or even the Choba situation. Those are the things you need.
Based on what Madam and you, what you have said now, and what you've been talking about also generally, it will be very, very good to make sure that all our PG students attend these series, because when they don't come here, the same mistake all the time. Because what the corrections now is not for the people who are here already presenting, but for those who are yet to come, so that they don't put us into this. And at the end of the day, we keep repeating the corrections we have always made, so that we don't start.
It's the same old thing we talk about.
Exactly.
Attendance. We lay so much emphasis on attendance. Oh, cannot continue to do that. PhD students that you are supposed to be learning. See, your professors are all here. Your supervisors are all here. But you come here and learn, be part of the learning process. You will not come. You come and repeat to ourselves. You take 2 steps forward, another 3 steps backward. It's unacceptable, please. Huh? So, let's do it well. Let's do it well. Let's ensure we do it. Even at the level of supervision, let's guide the student first of all. Because these things now, if the students fail, the supervisor also has failed. We also guide the student at the point of supervision. This is what I expect from you from the abstract. If it's not done well, you cancel it. In fact, in most cases, chapter 1, if you're able to get chapter 1 correctly, it might take you 2 months to even write chapter 1. I know when my students come, I cancel your chapter 1 more than 3 or 4 times. Go back and come back again. By the time you do it 2 or 3 times, it will be better than the first or second one. Don't just accept it or say, okay, it's fine, go. At the long run, what you are supposed to be doing, we are not coming to do it here. At the level of the department, they don't even look at some of these things. During departmental presentation, they don't look at it. They just assume that the supervisor has done the right thing. So let us, as supervisors, guide the students properly, please. It's important so that we don't come to do what you should have done at the very first instance. Okay? So, madam, do all of that in terms of, and there should be an order. There should be an order in your background. Don't put the motivation before the contextual background or contextual information. Give us the contextual information first before the motivation. There must be something that triggers your interest. There's something that motivates you. Why are you interested in breastfeeding? Below the line breastfeeding. Why not another topic? That's the motivation. So do it in that order. Let's move to the problem. The problem. So where is the problem now? I don't think that Ghana has a town, a major town, a city. Ghana LBA. So when they left, I'm looking at the black, she has 3 black points here on the very side. And now we are trying to, from there, divert into what's going on around us, even if it's within the country. So that problem is what I'm looking for. If that could anything be anchored in that area, so to suggest, because a place where you don't have like 80% of the people who are literate, for example. And then you go to bullet number 3. So you have hence this study, however, have I seen a construction like that before? Hence this study, however, I leave it there. What accounts for the law? Is it the lack of awareness about breastfeeding? What accounts for it? That should constitute a problem.
Not the lack of awareness. The problem is that they are aware, but they don't practice what the information they get from the materials.
Don't help yourself. Chairman, please. See what Chairman is saying. The problem, what made you to go inside this study? You know, you made a statement earlier. When you go to where the much you have, when you have photocopying people, you see those posters, etc. There was also alluding to something like that. That look, in Canada, LGA, you only have up to 80% of the women, nursing mothers, people, mothers, whether they are about to put to bed or who are put to bed, people, other mothers who are educated. You have up to 80% of that. You have that. You have up to 80% of the women in Canada LGA educated as to read posters and stuff like that. Let alone using social, because what you put there is the conventional media and the new media. That's what you say. It's not true. That's what you say. I read it. She wrote it here now. Look at it. Most let her answer first before you share. Madam, look at their first bullet or first page in the background to study. He said the media, in parentheses, he said both mainstream and digital. And you're shaking your head as if it's not. So as I said, I took permission from the chairman to help that you answered some of that question. I asked the question myself. What made you personally go into this study? What was the problem? Like you may have a sister or mother or neighbor, some people, and you notice that they are doing the very opposite of what should have been done as a result of not following or the media not capturing the information properly.
They don't practice.
Why? Do they know?
Yes.
How
From what they are into, like advocacy messages. Like on the posters, it's not just reading. Sometimes they put illustrations.
Let me share some light.
Guys, the elements we are looking for are not there. Those guys have what schools for further correction. Those elements and all of that. They are not yet necessarily have. They have done very well in terms of presentation. But let it be that the correction has pointed out with expected.
Okay. There's a genesis to this work. The Minister of Health had a special committee to look into how to reach out to antenatal women or nursing mothers. So they now agreed that the less cost effective should be below the line media. And if you go to maternities, you see big posters telling people about EBF, exclusive breastfeeding. And if you go there, you see them sharing leaflets. Of course, naturally, radio could have done that. Of course, word of mouth is enough. But the ministry insisted. And if you go to all health centers, you see these posters here and there. Yes, education market. So we want to find out, why do they insist on that? As a scholar, that's our concern. We are acknowledged that you have radio, you have word of mouth, you have whatever you have. But why do they emphasize on that? That's what we want to say.
That's why I'm saying the wrong thing altogether for what is in this thing. What you are looking for is not a matter of they are not using this thing. You are talking about perception. It's not a perception thing. This thing is a simple matter. What is the role of EBS in antenatal listing? What is the role? What exactly, just as the supervisor said just now, what exactly is the impact we are seeing? For example, those should be part of your findings. Because what you are basically looking at is the role. Why are they using this thing? Why is the government, for example, insisting that we should use below the line advocacy? That is the thing in communication. And then, Chairman has told you that.
Communication has layers. There are layers you have to enable communication conveys. So what they do is that what the committee did was, now they said, we want to have opinion leaders. The opinion leaders who will help you
some of the educated people, like if you check from their data, you know that some people are educated, they have to convince others who are not educated based on the leaflets. Because those consumers of leaflets, consumers of IEC, are naturally opinion leaders.
Chairman, let us conclude this because we need to make progress. See, there are simple steps to follow, Chief, so that your candidate the steps to know it. See, like what has been said, it looks like what you wanted to be done is not actually what is being done. Because when you say mainstream and digital media, so radio, TV, even using the new media for advocacy of that, because advocacy is our problem and the perception too. Then I'm saying, do you know we'll be having this challenge, this that part of statement of problem, the challenge, the problem. Every other time, the president of the country, there will be a problem about immunization. The president, like during the COVID period, will come out on national television and make a show of it with Salad of Sokoto, with one popular pastor, maybe like Kuka, and say, inoculate them publicly. You've seen it. Open the mouth of the baby, drop that immunization stuff. You've been seeing that. It's a way to compete because of our cultural practice. You don't tell a woman in Africa, ordinary, not to give a baby water, because especially when you don't give water. I'm sure you know that. For 6 months. So what she has is a little different from what you are saying that you are going to do. So therefore, let them harmonize. Yes,
Take an objective.
Oh, I want to suggest that this work, Professor, if the advice has given, if you start going into this work again, you will point out almost all that will be saying. Let them take home this, that they, what he wants her to do, what she's supposed to do, she didn't do. And now go back and do exactly that. And proceed from there. Instead of us running through all the pages again, only discovering the same thing we are correcting that, you have not done what you're supposed to do. Let me connect the work. You want them to be contribution. It's a recommendation.
I think if already see, if this could just have to do with a presentation. If some people are good at writing, they cannot produce or deliver what they have written. Definitely, thank God the supervisor is here. He has seen the work in the reading. Supervisor is sure of what is already there. Are you understand me? There is no need to go back because that will be.
I'm not even saying you should go and come back here. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that if I said that say what is in the main work is correct.
That's what
That's correct. Then we can proceed with this and our future corrections. But what is in the main work is directly based on what he is saying. Then let them go and harmonize it and recommend that they see you and move on from there. Because I'm saying if you go through the pages again, the PowerPoint, we'll keep seeing this.
So if you look at even this, you'll find that that's why I said the problem is more of presentation. You will find that even the objectives they align with the topic. Are you getting me?
Okay, let's just run through. Let's see what happens. It's just the aim and objectives. The aim is there. Mothers in Ghana, LGA, right? Under the aim, in light of the topic, the addition or modification you have given. Addition of LGA, River State. The objectives are to, let's look at the objectives.
Let's now put the calculator on each of the bullet points in the objective. So starting, that is like you have to find out. So F, calculator, if you go to the next one.
There's a column there.
Column.
I think she should also hyphenate the below the line. So you just
Below the line.
All the that's on the A, and on the first one below the line, and the second one they are certain knowledge. Can you see the second one, second line of that A?
Describe the extent of knowledge. the extent of knowledge.
And the last one is having a capital letter. Identify. Is smaller. Such questions. Let's see whether they align with your objectives. Okay. Significance of the study. Remove the first bullet under significant. The study is significant in theory and practice. Remove that, that's not a bullet point. Here now you are going to put them in single line. You have now enter double line spacing. It will be a single line now. Each bullet point should be in single line. Let's look at the significance. Okay. Scope.
Was on. The study was on. You get, madam?
Yeah. Again, single line. Literature review. Conceptual framework. All of them should be in single line. And just take note, I won't say more of that. Every bullet point should be in single line.
Font size. Let's page 12, font size.
Consistency. That's good, Chairman.
Yes.
I think she graduates now. I think she does well and remembers. I think I examined her physics. And she's gone. See now, she's saying that the timeline is between 2023 and 2024. But the yeah, but it's the timeline of the study. Doesn't that she reversed that does not remove the time frame of the study. Even if you study something like us in history, sometimes you study in 1060 AD in Britain. What happened in 1060 AD? If somebody just presented on June 12, 1993. So I'm saying, assuming you go off this place now, if it were in the past, like you do at the time, the one that happened in the month of December, if you are 2023 to 2024. So think about the harmonized shift.
Literature review. Conceptual framework.
Sorry, Prof. Please, can I get the point you are making again?
That's the time frame.
Yes.
She said that she did this one 2023, 2024.
Yes.
And this work she's already defined and almost graduated. 2024 is still on.
And if she had graduated, if
Yes.
that erased that. If she had graduated since 2021, 2020.
What would have happened to all these years?
So what should she do? Can we
She
suggest?
should be honest. And then she has got the frame of the time frame that she started. She did the study. See, all these things we are doing, they are not for us alone.
Definitely.
If you are doing medical study at this, you don't do it in any way to play the offering or hide that. You have to be so frank because you never can tell where this study was. Her worry is now that people are not using information. Turn out through some of these media outlets that they are not effective in use. And now she's coming up with something again and a little deceptive. So she had been studying this in Canada. I'm saying she should finish now and 2024 is still rolling. And what about the past? When did she actually, were you able to graduate to the register when you came first? So that's the point. So this is not happening.
Theoretical framework.
Font size.
One size, yes. Your front size is now reducing now. As you are moving, the front size is reducing.
Well, maybe for this, there's a continuation of the previous one. See,
Yeah, it should be on the should, why not take that one down to page 11? Under up there.
channels other than the main
Yes.
stage.
So in fact, so take the one from 11 to 12. Because it's just one line.
Start from theoretical framework under page 12. Move the other one to the previous page.
If she closes those spacing,
Because it's
yes, once she does the closing, like you come back naturally.
okay.
In fact, this is not for that.
No, I didn't know that this is more. Okay, let's do it. Empirical review. Literature review continued. Empirical review will be smaller. Just as you have under theoretical framework. Empirical review is not standing on its own, it's under literature review. So literature review continued. Again, you see that it is now word point. Reduce your bullet points and do them as if they are single lines. All of that, empirical review. Empirical review. I say it doesn't stand on its own, it's under literature review. Use the empirical review, the front side of the empirical review, and push it down to the left-hand side.
And it should be, the topic there should be continuation.
Literature review continued.
Yes.
Then each bullet point should be single line. I've said that before, under empirical review. But the way you put them now, it looks like it's a word point. Because of the
Last paragraph, the last bullet there is useless. Empirical review page. The same thing that was done before. Other empirical studies reviewed in this study includes.
yes,
So remove it or you say what they said.
that's correct. You know what they said, or you remove it entirely. But if you make a single line, you can say what they said. Bring in what they have said. Just reduce bullet 1 and 2, single line. Then there will be no space for you to say what they have said. Yeah, okay. Summary of literature review. That identification, yes, sir.
It would be nice to let the candidates know that you reduce our work to bullet points. PowerPoint, sorry.
Yeah, but I've told her that. I've told her that she will have one.
Yes, because you can't spend
It's because of the spacing.
pages when you're talking, then we have 52 pages.
Yes, it's because of the spacing. We are using double line spacing, not double line, single line. And saves you money too as well. Summary of literature review.
Citing, I don't think you don't need to cite any more laws for writing what
Yes, I just summarized the 2027, 2016. Just do a summary there, then identify the gap. Is there a gap there? Is there a gap? There's no gap there. So that's your gap. Which is your gap? Also, the study carried out by Vandana with the title. Vandana is just one person, Go ahead. Then where is the gap?
Where's the gap?
The gap is like,
Huh?
the gap is they did not investigate antenatal advocacy for.
And so it's not conclusive. If they do not investigate it, who is going to investigate it? And it's just one particular person. The study carried out by Bandana 2007, with the title blah blah blah. You know, but did not investigate antenatal advocacy. By one person. By one person. What about the others? So if they did not investigate, what's going to happen now?
That's the gap.
And if they don't investigate, so what happens? So what?
That's what.
Huh?
And that's what I've done.
But you are not studying there. It's not here now. If you put it down like that, that this work is trying to do this, others did not do this, take a departure, build your argument. There's an argument you are going to build. What is it that others have done that they did not do? They did all of that, but they did not do this. What they did not do is what we are trying to do. That's the lacuna, that's the gap we are trying to fill.
And
To identify it.
you have to restate that.
Restate it.
Bullet, second bullet.
It's there, but it's implied, but it's not clear.
Summary of future. So gap will not be the heading. It will still be future review continuous. That other one is
This one
something
is
below it.
come down this way. Huh? It's a subtitle under
It will still be future review continuous. The same thing with the critical review before it. Future review continuous. Then that this other goes on to come under.
I'm not getting it. Methodology. Methodology. Let's look at my methodology. Under methodology, is okay. Is it okay? Colleagues, like when we finish eating, we become tired. Yeah? When we take these snacks, we are taking, we are not tired. When we should bring it towards the tail end of the work. Methodology, let's guide that. Silence means that there is nothing new. Silence means there is nothing I should move. Results and discussion. The table there, remove all the lines under your table.
Remove lines.
Remove all the lines. All the lines under your table. Summary, conclusion, and recommendation. Summary of findings. Limitation of the study is part of the format, right? Yes. Conclusion. Recommendation. Under your recommendation, bullet number 4. Some of them are in fact, you are starting them the bullet point with the capital letter, others they are not. Some you did not. Bullet number 4.
that government must engage the services of opinion leaders. Why is that one in small letter? Contributions to knowledge.
Let them always be advised. She is a student, a scholar, student under federal government. When you are talking to your master, you don't use those things. Just a government boss. You can suggest if she should. Not say this is that and say this you must go out of this room now. You will throw you to the window.
Actually, please, on that recommendation, I'd like to, based on what she's working on, and based on also the discussions and findings from us here too, I'd like to recommend that she should add another recommendation coming from the visual arts side under her IEC. Let it be an innovation, the use of visual representations more, because some of those people, like she said, they are not students. Sorry, they are not educated. So instead of reading, they can, they get the information by visuals. So I'm suggesting you add that one as one of your recommendations, that the use of visual images should be used more other than graphic writings. Because if they cannot read, they'll be able to see. They'll be able to see and, just like learning from cartoons also.
Very good, that's where I was going. When somebody is learning, sometimes you think that they know what you know. When you are saying visual, madam, for what they see with their eyes, in the new age, even little like this girl now, they use that to direct her mind. So animation is important, even if it's not motion picture, motionless and motion, but animation is makes all real. Dramatize it, visual, paint it, draw it, visual. Okay.
Okay. Contributions to knowledge.
Use things English, not behavior, and so on and so forth. So many of these are level.
Anything there? Okay, thank you.
Good day, Honorable Committee. Can give less than 10 minutes out of time. Good day, Honorable Committee, professors and lecturers, and my colleagues at the University of Port Harcourt. I am Anonosomos Yusuchuwendo, presenting the work, The Notion of Humans as Kingdom of Ends in Immanuel Kant's Implications for Business Ethics in Nigeria. In the absence of a guiding principle and significant business ethics in Nigeria, we advocate for mutual respect and respect for the dignity of persons by applying Kant's categorical imperative and its implications for business ethics in Nigeria. For our background of studies, we listed a plethora of unethical activities in Nigerian business activities. But outside those unethical activities that we listed, we find out that we are in a country where you can wake up to news of wild animals swallowing ridiculous amounts of money. and the attendant, there's an attendant getting in chit chats and then unnecessary phone conversations while you're standing before them, and then a situation where you see a lot of citizens who jump the queue and jump and disobey traffic rules, and then look at you obeying those traffic rules as being abnormal. A society where abnormality becomes like a norm, what psychologists will refer to as learned helplessness. So in the midst of all these unethical activities, we have a problem. The problem of profits, maximization of profits at the expense of ethical conduct, which has led to a ripple effect where we have companies, indigenous Nigerian company, having a lifespan below 80 years. In fact, I tended to be historical correct by saying 80 years. A lot of authors will say there are no Nigerian indigenous company with a lifespan of 50 years. I just said 80 years, so that a quick Google search might not contradict that number of years. That it prompts the question, do we have a guiding principle? Is there a business ethics in Nigeria? For our aim and objectives, we aim to explore Kant's categorical imperative and its implications for business ethics in Nigeria. And then for our objectives, we hope to explore Kant's categorical imperative, examine its implications for Nigerian businesses, recommend a change in ethical culture, and instill some ethical theories that will kind of instill some ethical consciousness in the mindset of Nigerians. For our method of study, we employed for our method of study is qualitative, involving critical and textual analysis of published works. And for the significance of our study, our work is significant at the theoretical level by examining Kant's categorical imperative, and at the theoretical level, it is value-laden because it hopes to sensitize on the short-term goals of unethical practices and the sustainability of ethical conduct. For our conceptual framework, we have deontology, and then we have this definition that will be found anywhere in the world. This definition I can explain maybe further when I'm asked. This definition is the first of its kind because it took into the aspect of agreement, and then the aspect of animal rights and environmental ethics, who ask questions. That's who are demanding for inclusion into business ethics. For our theoretical framework, we'll be looking at Kant's categorical imperative, of course, consequentialism, Ross' theory of justice as fairness, which recommends equal opportunities and basic liberties to similar individuals, and the offer of highest possible benefits to the less advantageous of the society. And Ross believes that this theory, where everyone is treated with fairness, will lead to the functioning of a just society. And then Locke's political theory that states that all persons are endowed with natural rights to life, liberty, and property, and rulers who fail to protect these rights may be removed by the people. For our literature review, we reviewed some scholars, Canlon, Ross, D.D. Ross, O'Neill, and all that. And there was something central in their message, that human life is valuable because humans have the capacity of reason sensitivity. And then that ethics should be concerned with the two fundamental facts of conduct as good in itself and good as a means. The gaps that we noticed were all these authors, they failed to explain why all acts which are wrong. And then they failed to place an obligatory role on humanity. They were simply kind of preempting what man should do, but they failed to place an obligatory role on humanity. And then there was failure to note that some stringent moral conducts are bound in moral persons as an obligation to be fulfilled. Now, Kant's categorical imperative, before you talk about Kant's categorical imperative, he looked at the goodwill and duty. And that goodwill and duty, he talks of the goodwill as acting from duty, which involves experiencing an imperative. And he said that the categorical ought is the source of morality. It is from this categorical ought that he got the categorical imperative with the three formulations that has as maxim. The first maxim is universal law, act in accordance, that which you will that your action will be a universal law of nature. And then the second maxim, which talks of the dignity of the persons, that humans are kingdom of ends and should not be used as means to an end. And the third maxim, if I should quote it, it might look a little bit difficult to understand. So it is more of saying that it is a combination of the first and the second categorical imperative that says, act always as if through your maxim you were a law-making member in the universal kingdom of ends. Now, Kant's categorical imperative faces a lot of questions and challenges. Most especially, the challenges came from Hegel and Jean-Paul Sartre, who had some reservations about Kant's categorical imperative and his concept of duty. But outside Sartre and Hegel, you have people in environmental ethics and animal rights who think that Kant's categorical imperative cannot stand as a theory in business ethics. In fact, they said it's a joke to talk of Kant's categorical imperative as a joke, simply because Kant talked of humans as kingdom of ends, and this kingdom of humans as end for them, it's anthropogenic, it is anthropocentric, and for them, a lot of the environmental degradation, a lot of the ethical issues we face in business ethics, of which environmental pollution is part of it, is caused by anthropogenic activity. So we cannot use Kant's theory as a model. That is for them. But now there are also new philosophers who have come up to argue that Kant's model, its notion of moral actions it's of having morality when it is performed for the sake of duty. So that makes it adequate for business ethics. And that humans are the only known animal with moral conscience to take up the caretaker role in not optimizing the welfare of individual animals, but in the resolution of negative interactions between animals and the ecosystem. So Kant's categorical imperative, even though people are talking, the animal rights are talking about no killing theory. They said the no killing theory is an ecological impossibility because in view of climate change, which has redefined what some animal rights people are demanding, we have the issues of deer eating young saplings of trees in particularly America and United Kingdom. So these deers eating saplings are an ecological nuisance, and because of their ecological nuisance, it behoves on rational persons to make to kind of guide the ecosystem by this ecological control. So man, by being rational, embarks on ecological control. For that's to say that the ultimate motivation in business ethics, using Kant and justifying Kant, that the ultimate motivation should be the pursuit of the moral community. And Kant's ethics offers that ethical motivation because humans as kingdom of ends offered a foundation for business ethics. The summary of our findings is that because of the urge and what seems an overall eagerness to make profit by businesses, a lot of standards are lowered, especially in the absence of recognized ethical guidance and sensitization in Nigeria. This lowering of standards leads invariably to lackadaisical attitudes that we see in different sectors of the Nigerian economy. And we have issues of lack of quality control, corruption, employee disengagement, poor remuneration, even failure to pay workers, and unnecessary deduction. We have all of these issues, including stuff like rushed adverts, which have gathered a lot of controversies, especially when we look at some of the Easter messages are always controversial. By conclusion, we are concluding that Kant's monistic deontology, which centers on the notion of the categorical imperative, considers morality as a system of universal rules that govern actions, and that one should respect the humanity of others by considering others as kingdom of ends and not means to an end. And Kant's notion of moral actions, when it is performed for the sake of duty, it is adequate, for humans are the only known animal with moral conscience to take up the caretaker role in not only optimizing the welfare of individual animals, but in the resolution of negative interactions between animals and the ecosystems. So while animal rights group rejects the killing of animals for whatever purpose, Kant's kingdom of ends offers a foundation for business ethics as it relates to humanity in every sphere, irrespective of the physical, emotional, mental, cultural sphere, including his environment. It offers that foundation. And for recommendations, we recommend an application of Kant's categorical imperative, particularly the foundation of respect for human dignity as an ethical theory in Nigerian business conduct. And then the infusion of ethical consciousness in the Nigerian business environment, because there is lack of ethics in Nigerian business. Sensitization of rights, ethical conduct, and creation of awareness of some relevant documents that talks about business ethics. For instance, International Labour Act. A lot of people don't know about such documents, consumer rights protection, which advocates for an ethics in business. For our contribution to knowledge, this work is novel in its own right, considering the fact that it has received insignificant academic attention in Nigeria. And this Kant's categorical imperative with the Ross theory of justice and Locke's political theory, it has been used to address unethical issues of poor remuneration, poor consumer relationships, job discrimination, environmental degradation, favoritism and bias, and so on and so forth. And it advocated for sensitization and awareness of Nigerian Labour Act consumer protection rights, which is a veritable tool to demand for ethics in the Nigerian business environment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's the next presentation. You are in charge of the work. So colleagues, let's quickly look at it. Topic, dealing with the topic. We want to ensure that when you go to graduate school, be in charge of your work. Show mastery of the work. So you are in charge. You give to our own credit. So don't just come in here and say what you want to say and get out. Say it in such a way that, yes, somebody says yes, he knows it. Even if you don't know it, the way you're coming out so strongly, somebody will conclude, yes, that's a good work. Please. Thank you. Topic, colleagues. Emotion. Appropriateness of the topic in order. Okay. Any other thing on that page? The topic, what's that?
The notion of humans as kingdom of ends in Immanuel Kant. Don't you think that there's something missing there? In Immanuel Kant.
That's the notion of humans as kingdom of ends is a theory provided by
Is it in Immanuel Kant's philosophy, in Immanuel Kant's view, or in Immanuel Kant? That's my observation.
I think it's implied. It's implied. Whether it's a theory or whether it's a concept.
I do. Some concept.
Is that the only theory that dealt from that? Now, the other theory, he has qualified it by saying the notion of humans as kingdom of ends is implied that you are talking about Kant's ethics. Kant's ethical theory. So it's implied. Yes, it's not out of place, it's okay. Okay, any other thing on that page?
My little worry about this, about the topic, is in terms of when we say implication for business ethics in Nigeria, because from what we can deduce in your presentation, there seems to be a sweeping statements about what obtains in the Nigerian sociocultural environment. Much as we may assume this to be true, I think if the research is specifically situated in in a specific area of businesses, so to say, I think that may make more sense. But when we situate it in Nigeria, and when we make all the statements we make, they are basically convoluted. We just assume. There are no specific data to prove what we are saying. Now, we are looking this against Kant's notion of human as entity. What it means is that we are looking at Kant's notion, and we are already concluding that this is the way it is in Nigeria, or not the way it is in Nigeria. But there are no facts, there are no data to substantiate that. This is my little worry, but I don't know if anybody is looking at it.
I agree with you.
Yes.
When I say in Nigeria, where was the work conducted? Is it qualitative?
There are some specific companies, for example, businesses
that have
we are
studied.
looking at.
Because you talked about environmental, talked about it, just everything is in that business.
Yes. Okay, when I started, I noted that the unethical practices in Nigerian businesses have led to the absence or the lack of an indigenous Nigerian company with a lifespan of, I said, over 8 years.
Are there citations to that?
Yes, there are. In Humanities, there are a lot of citations. Okay. Yeah, I have the quotes in my memoir, and I have a lot of quotes, kind of detailing the sort of political practice, the corruption, the environmental degradation. There are a lot of quotations, including newspaper publications. In fact, even the president, every president of the country that comes in, every president of the country that comes in will say that corruption is a big problem in Nigeria. So that itself is an issue in business ethics. So there are loads of facts on unethical business practices in Nigeria.
So we take that. Okay, Daddy. We take that. Whether it's based on what people.
What he's doing is this. I like what you said. That's like a sweeping statement. Which, if you look at it from before, you will get that. But because philosophy does more, not does more, he's trying to say how you could bring philosophy into business practice in Nigeria. Of course, that's ethics. Now, if you, it's not a work where you have to go to the field to submit questionnaire, get your answers, some data.
Yes.
He is applying Kant's theory, categorical imperative, to the problem of unethical business practices. You can say it's sweeping, general statement. But in the main work, if you look at the work particularly, the chapter dealing with the implications, you will see where he substantiated each of these kind of practices.
Qualitative.
I know if possible, don't just go to
the work is qualitative.
Exactly, it's qualitative. So that's it's applying material.
I was actually trying to find that.
You see the other way.
Sorry, in the abstract, I was actually, because when you say you are looking at Kant's categorization, what my thoughts, where I am looking at is, you are looking at Kant's study in terms of his categorization of ethical values, for example, and you are looking at Nigeria's business environment against this field, and I'm still coming to it because I didn't see anything. That should be your methodology. In your methodology, I didn't see anything on that in the abstract.
That's what I'm trying to explain. We don't do that. Our methodology is it's not a framework.
Okay.
It's a qualitative work.
Yeah. And because at that, you should have, if I'm looking at categories.
Categorical imperative is also a concept, or call it notion, or idea in Kant. The categorical imperative Kant has also another one they call goodwill or duty for duty's sake. So these are concepts that when you apply them to the Nigerian system, every part of Nigerian system, University of Port you see where that failure, like you not say, people are doing their duty for duty's sake.
Are you saying that conclusions of this work are given? I said that conclusions of this work is a given.
We need to understand it. What I'm trying to establish is, for example, in your work, did you show some sort of categories? For example, Kant talked about respect of human dignity. Kant talked about promoting fairness and justice. Kant talked about ethical decision making. There are so many categories in this area that he talked about. So we can mirror Nigeria. Now we have accepted the fact that okay, because it's not as easy as we think, so that we don't start making sweeping statements. So because when we start talking like this, we are saying this is what Nigeria is. Yes. So there will still be companies or businesses that are actually working in line with what Kant have actually recommended. That's my worry.
And again, from what he's saying, if these things are known, Nigeria is a corrupt place in every area. What's the need of this work?
This was a call.
It's a given. Yeah.
It's a call. What is a call? That Nigeria is
which all of us are doing every day.
So what is the problem? So what is the problem?
What's the problem?
No, hold on. What is the problem? What is the problem exactly that this war is trying to look for solutions to?
Yeah.
Because we already know it, just like Dr. Machuku said. We already know it. So what is the new thing you are telling us?
Lack of significant, I said the problem is lack of significant guiding principle. And then what's the one?
Already, Kant have already told us that.
Yes.
So you have already looked. So why exactly is this war, Prof?
Yes, thank you very much. I haven't so much to say anything because I'm one of the supervisors. But let me start by informing him that it is not very proper to make certain sweeping statements as you have said. I wasn't comfortable when he said that there is no business in Nigeria that has survived up to 8 years or so. 80 years. 80 years. The danger with such statements is that any day anybody is able to assume any business that has believed that it controls your work. It would have been safer to say that most businesses in Nigeria, I would say so. The validity of his work is that Kant has maxims. He's not talking about categorization of values or moral principles. He talked about hypothetical imperative and categorical imperatives. For the hypothetical, you have if this, then that. But for the categorical, he's saying that once you make any categorical statement about morality, you should be sure of these maxims. Now, one, you should be sure that you wish that such a statement becomes a universal law. For example, if you say killing is bad, not that when you are in a position to kill, you don't say killing is good. So it should be a universal statement of law. Two, that human beings should be treated as beings with moral autonomy, and therefore they should be seen as kingdom of ends. They should not be used as means to some ends. Now the key problem here in business ethics is that every business sets out to make profit. And the profit the business set out to make will be made if people patronize the business. So by making profit from people's patronage, are you not using them as means to the realization of their profit? So long as it is not a compromise of their autonomy, so his point is that Kant remains right, or Kant's categorical imperative, or Kant's notion of humans as kingdom of ends that will not be treated as means remains valid Because if you apply that, it means that you are not going to shortchange or maybe adulterate goods or so just because you want to make profit. You will know that in doing so, you are treating human beings as instruments with the realization of your ends. But he didn't quite bring out that clearly in his work. Topic is okay. Abstract.
Okay, no, before the abstract,
yes.
You got B field and BD from Rome. Maybe that will make you tweak that line of that line by maybe saying semicolon after IMSU, then B field, comma, BD before you put that. Just put that row once. And just put row once for us. Is that clear? And then yeah, we basically will change the first command you use for IMSU to semicolon. That can yeah, the first place you go. Just to capture that well, and then yeah, fulfillment, do one L for fulfillment. So that it will not be switching from American to British English. Do one L. Yes. Yeah, you have moved to faculty now. You are moving, you're no longer in the department. Eh?
I saw something, science.
Let me see. Please, if you know that better, correct me. That even the go. Good one that they will collect the philosophy from.
Okay. Abstract.
On the abstract, you are still using the future tenses. I will. This work is completed, right? So I think you need to change that, right?
Yeah. Tenses.
The tenses. Yes.
Okay. Back. The motivation is there. Yeah. The problem.
The third bullet. Acknowledge our source. Since it's not you that saying it. Yeah.
When you said 50 years, so let's say 50 years, so I'll say 50 days.
Acknowledge it.
This statement of problem is not clear. The statement of the problem is not clear. It's not factual. See, and this is why your work, to me, is still not very well focused. If the statement of problem is not clear, then what exactly are you researching? From what I see here, from all the bullet points, if I say you should tell me the statement of problem in a statement, just give me a statement, what would you say?
I'll still go back to the lack of indigenous Nigerian company having a long lifespan as a result of political practice.
That's why I keep saying again that the statement of problem for a research work is not necessarily the negative connotation of what the word problem is. Are you following me? Look at that topic again. The statement of problem is here. It borders on this question. What is the implication of Kant's notion of humans as kingdoms of ends for business ethics in Nigeria. That is what you don't know. And that's why I was making that statement in the first instance. That you cannot know until you have researched, you have looked at data, and you speak to the data, and then the result can now tell you, give you the confidence to say that yes, this is this and this is this. Are you getting what I'm saying? So basically, from what I see here, the problem actually borders around that question. What is the implication of Kant's notion of humans as kingdom of ends for business ethics in Nigeria? Yes. You get it? Okay.
So state your problem clearly and precisely. State problem clearly and precisely. Aim and objectives. The aim and objective. Then number 3, check the application of the relevance of the categorical interest for business ethics. Are you checking? So once you check, what happens? Check. So that would look like a better word, not check. Bullet 3. Is it to investigate the relevance of Kant's categorical for business ethics in Nigeria? Check. Bullet number 3. Check. To investigate the relevance.
Are you replacing the check?
Yes.
With
We investigate.
And it seems to me that that's not exactly what he meant. The check is wrong. He wants to promote the application of this categorical authority in business ethics. He's promoting it. He wants that authority to be applied. He's not investigating it. He wants, what I'm saying is, he wants this categorical imperative, the notion of humans as kingdom of ends, to be applied in business ethics in Nigeria.
But that means that it's not applied.
So it's already assumed that it's not applied.
I thought you should have investigated whether it's applied, it's being applied or not before you
He is saying that given the state of business practice in Nigeria, if we not apply Kant's notion of humans as kingdom of ends, what will be the implication? The implication is that it's going to make business practice in Nigeria heavier. It is going to check the excesses of businessmen who cut corners just to make profit and who use humans as means to ends.
But wouldn't that be great? Because if we have that as an objective, what we are saying is we already assume a statement. Yes, you know.
Okay, don't investigate, just ascertain. Because
the idea I think we should ascertain first, and then we recommend.
We can ascertain. Because you know the presenter since it's not quantitative, you can use ascertain.
Yeah, because anything about objective, you must do something about it. You can't just say, oh, because it's just checking. See, the presenter already told us what our worry was. he said that the business will see that as a joke. Remember, that's what he said. So nobody will try to apply it, especially in a jungle like ours, this country.
Yes. Okay. Um, bullet number 4 and 5. Can they be merged? Recommend a change in business, in Nigerian business culture. Recommend some ethical principles that will infuse some ethical consciousness in Nigerian business. Can be merged.
In actual sense, in objectives, you don't need to recommend it.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
You find out, always find out. That's the purpose of
Recommendation is not part of the objective. It's not part of the objective.
I think we should expunge both
4 and 5 should go. Then possibly look for 1 or 2 more of the objective.
So if there are 3, it doesn't satisfy.
Maybe 4 should go, but not 3. It's a PhD work. Yeah. 4 or 5 can go.
3 is too small.
Okay, method of study.
It's a master's work.
No. Don't use that.
It's not applicable.
The primary library materials used in this is that original text by Manuel Kant. What is the original text? Mention this text.
Grant work for the metaphysics of
So
morals.
include it.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
so because we always want to have the same, if you like, things. So it's research methodology. Methodology. When I say method of the study,
No, that's what we apply in our department.
no, it's a universal
No, it's been approved by graduate school.
Yes, because we've not got that report. We're waiting for that.
And that's why we are saying that the attempt by graduate school to impose Allen, what I call Allen methodology or research methodology on other disciplines is unacceptable.
We agree
Yes,
with you.
it's
We
not
are
acceptable.
waiting for that template from graduate school. It doesn't count. We know, like I said it earlier, that MLA, ABA, depending on what you are doing, we do not come to that. They will have issues. Right. Then number 2 is this, that if you are going to have it, you want a uniform arrangement at this level. When therefore you have a certain examiner come and final work is to be done, then you can use that which is known in your, but as long as you are moving forward, so that you don't continue to have problems on the road, you keep it as methodology or something for us. When you get to your own domain, then you can change it to what you want.
Want to keep all our students on the same page. By the time they come to whatever method they are using, let it start from department, faculty to graduate school. By the time they come to faculty, department, they do methodology, method of the study. They come to faculty, they now do methodology. They get to graduate school, they now do a method of the study. I don't think it's
Methodology and method are not the same things.
so in our discipline.
We know that.
And it's always in chapter 1, not in chapter 3.
In our own discipline,
Yes.
it's sources and methods. But because of their desire to have the environment at least at this time, we let it as research methodology. Otherwise, what we do is sources and methods. But let's go forward.
Okay, let's look at that. The word scope. Significance of the source.
When we still having will, can he change it?
He has obvious scope. Will. The word that you have completed. Significance. Who becomes bullets there? The study has significance. Who has bullets? It's significant. It's
work is significant in both female and masses. Huh? But still, literature review, conceptual framework. Framework. For that framework, conceptual framework, especially, see, philosophy is a unique study amongst us. So normally, if he is having Kant, then he should review Kant. There should be a profile of Kant. Because he said in that, the first one, the second one, the last one, yes, that it's not all of Kant, look at the last one, but we will focus on, what page? That is page 6, or 6, I think, okay. Page 8, scope of the study, look at the last line there. Are you seeing it? Yes. So he is saying what he is not doing and what he has done. He said, this research will not lay claim to doing justice to all of Kant's work, but will focus on Kant's review of using as means to the end. So you see, there need always, because that's the nature of the study, to have a philosopher and then bring the philosophy, the very kernel of his work, and then work on it, societal investment. So I am looking to see that. I have not seen it. Now you have gone to that picture review, conceptual review. I'm wondering, we know about Kant and his submissions, and we know some of the arguments, Hegelian, some of the arguments against some of it, like what he's trying to do. So if we don't have a profile of that, it may not bring us to where we should be. In the other hand, fortunately, you also philosophy.
Actually, especially about that notion of humans as kingdom of things. That is a notion, it's an idea, it's a concept. You should review that in your conceptual review. I think you should review that. Prof, sir. Prof.
My understanding of that conceptual review is a section where we try to clarify the concepts, the key concepts that are used in the work. But with regards to what was saying, chapter 3 serves that purpose. Chapter 3 will discuss the main work, person's views, chapter 3. But here we only try to explain the concepts, basic concepts.
Yeah, I think the remark by Professor Carfor is in order. Yes, because here in conceptual review, you are taking the key concepts. The key concept. Deontology is not a concept in the title of the work. It's not a concept. Okay? Business ethics is a concept, right? It's there. Environmental ethics. Is it there?
It's there.
Environmental ethics.
Yes, it's there.
I've not seen it. Where is it? On the
In
title.
literature review.
No, me on the title.
Okay.
Environmental ethics is not there. Job discrimination is not. So where do you get all those from? Environmental ethics.
There is no way he will not even review that concept.
Yes. We are correct.
As a matter of fact, his review should be to the extent that what have people said about this concept? Yes, before you will now showcase that concept, because that concept is the independent variable in your work. Before you will present it in your methodology to begin to tell us, okay, what areas did we actually, analyze? Where he applied the application. That's what I think.
What's a unit?
Yes.
What you have said is correct. But also, what Professor Ezekike said answers to that question, because humans as kingdom of ends is a major component of Kant's categorical imperative, and he dealt with it almost exhaustively in chapter 3. Again, but
what you are saying is done in chapter 2 under literature review.
That's what we are.
So you now reviewed what people have said on humans as kingdom of ends. And so it will be somewhat redundant to review it under conceptual review. That's why he didn't do that. If it was not a major part of chapter 3 and 2, he would have done it in chapter, under conceptual review.
Where does it provide that information?
There is a whole section on review of literature.
Like who has the main work? So look at is there.
Please, let's restrict ourselves. Let's restrict the review to keep concept on the topic.
Because the topic, you must review the major thing.
You know, somebody will be interested.
We don't understand.
When you write, you're not writing just for the specialists, but for the non-specialists as well. People can just take up the word and be thinking, what does it mean by economics? Go to the conceptual review, and the person will see it there.
You know, this has been a subject of controversy. What we have there is conceptual framework. Then you're talking about conceptual review. So which one are we, talking about? Because we have tried to explain what this session should deal with. We are told that what we should be doing here is to clarify the concepts we are using. So when we talk about review, that was what he did under literature review.
When you do a review, concepts, you are doing it from the point of view of scholars. What have scholars said about that particular concept? Not just define it in terms of operational definition of terms.
And therefore, according to what he said, is the critic that brings it to the party. It's the critic of such this focus of area that you have.
Does it not to take the concept and analyze those concepts from different perspectives?
Conceptual review of conceptual framework.
Which is a framework. When you do, for me, when you apply a review,
So how to define it clearly?
let's see.
So that will guide the students.
For me, I think that the totality of the review is what forms it, the framework. That is why it is titled conceptual framework. And when you do a conceptual framework, you are indirectly doing a review of scholars on that concept. What have scholars said about the concept from different perspectives? And there must be the key concepts. There must be key concepts. So don't try to manufacture other concepts that are not contained on the topic, like environmental ethics, like job discrimination, on the concept on the topic. They are not there. They are not key concepts in the world. Environmental ethics. Let me get that from you. I was made to add it after the department. I wasn't there before. The environmental ethics, I was made to add it because the issue was that businesses are situated in a location, and we experience a lot of unethical practices coming with environmental degradation. So that I should I wasn't there. I was associated with it. I was not in that event. I was associated. Here I define a few concepts. So take the topic, go to the topic, look at the concepts that are on the topic, and do a review. The totality of that review constitutes a framework. And when you do the review, give sources, like this one I've done now, there are no sources. You write them as if you're writing from your head. You're not citing any particular source where you derive these things from.
The last one.
Yes, I know. Somebody can tell you that it's too journalistic. I think you're a journalist. They're not backing up what we are saying with any reference. Remove all this ontology. If business ethics is there, but give source.
Okay, Prof. Sorry, I said this business ethics is our own unique definition. And I mentioned it when I was unless I leave. Okay, unless I leave on unique definition. Okay. I wanted to know if I can.
You are not an authority yet, so you can't define it.
Okay, Prof. I wanted to
clarify that, and that is why you are doing it as a review, as a framework.
Okay, I wanted to be sure about that.
So do all of that. Then theoretical framework. Now, You now want to ask categorical imperative. Why are you using Kant's categorical imperative? You are using Kant against Kant. Or you are using Kant for Kant.
The categorical imperative, because we can't talk of the notion of kingdom of things without talking of the categorical imperative. That was why
Yes, you are looking for a broader framework, an established framework within which you can situate Kant's thoughts. That's not the thing. Yes, that's what you are doing there, that is framework. A broader framework within which you can situate. So the application will lay the foundation for his emergence. Okay. His emergence is bringing on a new theory on what framework is he working on. Okay. In that case, the gross theory of justice. Yeah, consequentialism and not socially as what theory of justice. Because Kant is a theory of justice. So do all of that.
Sorry, I'm just very to see this. Kant is not a consequentialist. In fact, the whole concept of deontology is a negation of consequentialism. Kant is saying that the morality of an action should be seen as a matter of duty, not the consequence of that action. So we cannot even use, I didn't see this, consequentialism cannot be a framework, but he's using it, if it's just a review, it's fine. But if it's a framework, it will be contradictory to use consequentialism as a prison within which to interpret or apply Kant. Do you agree with me?
Yes, I think I use the consequentialism because
what I'm asking is, Kant's deontology is the opposite of consequentialism. Are we agreed on that? So if that is the case, then consequentialism cannot be used as a framework for the interpretation or analysis of deontology or Kant's categorical imperative.
That will be antithesis. That will be the antithesis.
I think he did that because he's looking for consequences of political business materials. That's another method to look for. Because unethical practices has its consequences. So, and it's because of these consequences, so that is why is that appropriate?
So if that is appropriate, it is theoretical review. My problem is in the heading. If it is a framework, it should not match. But if it is part of theoretical review, that was how we saw it, it's fine. Because you are reviewing the theory so that people will get to understand it, but not as a framework for the analysis of Kant.
So why I say that he is using that on the basis of the consequences of that unethical practices. That's
no, but Kant is saying even if the consequences of an action may be favorable or palatable, you should not look at the consequences. That as a matter of duty, we have a duty to treat human beings as human beings, irrespective of the consequences. So, in the classification of ethical theories, deontology is treated as a opposite category of consequentialism. It's a non-consequentialist theory.
All right, can he expunge that one?
Sir, are you suggesting that he should expunge?
No, I'm suggesting that if it comes as part of his theoretical review, it can stay. But it should not be a framework. It should not come under framework. No, where there's a section of the work where he does review of the work. What if he wants to consequentialism to help us understand deontologism better? That's what you're trying to do. That's what I'm saying. That's another angle. Not come under framework.
Okay, you guys think of something. So what theoretical framework will you be using?
That would be John Ross theory and Locke's political theory. That's okay.
Those two, right? There's another one. Okay, then.
John Ross. One is Ross, one is Locke.
Let's move. The next page is what? Is it literature review itself now? Yes. But you didn't put it now. That's what it is. Literature review. not empirical review now, literature review. We'll see if you understand literature review or something. It's not like something. So that's why I said to take that consideration. Summary of this literature review is no gap. See, what is becoming what point now? What is achievement?
Sorry, in his main work, you have 2.3 as sorry, it should be empirical review. Okay, what about chapter 3 too, sir? Which one, is it peculiar to your, because it's chapter 3 here is exploration of the transmission of the it's peculiar to philosophy too.
You know, that's why
We have methodology.
yes, well, we just said it now. We were saying it.
No, he said that they have a method of study in chapter 1. No methodology.
No methodology.
I think we should still how did you do this work? So how did you come out with what are the findings? What did you find? How did you get to this finding? You use the textual analysis. What did you analyze? Where is it? We have to see some data.
I used a lot of literature. I quoted a lot of literature that
No. That is not textual analysis. That is not textual analysis. You are analyzing text. Kant already has the original word. You said that the primary, according to your area, people say the primary material that you use is the original works of Kant. So there are portions in that work that you would have analyzed. That is the essence. So for a PhD work, you can't just be generalizing and say you just quoted. No, you want to see that Kant's work, go to page this text we're taking from here. We analyze this text. I did not say it. That is what I was asking that time.
I didn't understand you. That was why. I thought you were talking of because you were saying that I use people.
What did you do? Because we want to learn. We want to learn on this thing. We want to really know. We want to know what you do. So that's what makes us, confident that this work is robust. Are you following me?
Yes.
So what did you do exactly in your text analysis? What did you analyze?
In the text analysis, yes. The first analysis was Kant talking about the goodwill. He talked about the goodwill where he stated that the goodwill, it's like the goodwill being original. He connected the goodwill and duty. He said the goodwill refers to acting from duty and it involves experiencing an imperative. This imperative, Kant said that there is a categorical imperative of ought, which is the source of morality. You have the hypothetical imperative, which is the imperative of if, and then the categorical imperative of ought. So with this concept of goodwill and duty, he came to propound the categorical imperative, which had three formulations. One of the formulations is the universal law of nature that acts so that you should act so that in such a way that your module will be a universal law of nature. And it is this application of this first formulation we talked about business ethics being universalized, that we can't have a different business, a different product for Nigeria and have a different product for China, or we have a polluted environment where the Chinese or people of different nationalities will think that because Nigeria is a third world country, or in the words of someone, a shithole, where they can pollute our waters and environment, and then their own environment will be safe. So there should be a universal dogma to business ethics. That is the first formulation. Then the second formulation is treating humans as kingdom of ends, which is at that yes, treating humans as kingdom of ends and not as means to an end, which is treating humans with mutual respect. And if we should involve this theoretical framework of Ross, treat people with fairness, liberty, and justice, such that there is no discrimination. That is why I had to involve the job discrimination in my conceptual framework.
he deserves to be classified. That's a good defense. Somewhere gap in the literature. Is there? Move on. Results and discussion, not discussions.
Okay.
Let's move fast. Conclusion, recommendation, summary, conclusion, and recommendation. So add summary to it out. Summary, recommendation, and conclusion and recommendations. Summary, in that say summary of findings. That's the way to write it. As subheading. Then under that, summary of findings. Include summary there, no summary. Conclusion is there. Your recommendations are there. Contributions to knowledge. So let's go back to the contributions to knowledge. Add S contributions. Add S to that contributions.
Contributions to knowledge, not contribution.
Yes, so
Sir, yes, sir. This is not for the candidates. But I would like us, and maybe not now, after now to resolve it. This idea of contributions to knowledge. My thinking is that I've seen it in some places. That even if you have contribution to knowledge, it doesn't restrict you to one contribution. You can have the subheading as contribution to knowledge and still have as many contributions as possible. Because even in conclusion, a work may have more than one conclusion, yet we call it conclusion, and it's still correct. So I want us to go back to primary school and ask if we can have contribution to knowledge instead of contributions to knowledge.
I think you can have contribution.
Yes, contribution is without end is okay.
No, the actual
But
sense.
instead they are saying that when you have more than one contribution, that's a contribution.
Even when you have more than one contribution,
Yes.
yes,
That what it actually ought to be is contribution to knowledge. Even for reference and some of those things, but now they are insisting. So if you get there, the dean of the high says, or the secretary says, put this or explain examiner, you follow that. But this is what we normally do. This should be contribution to knowledge. The reason is that it can even be one. We must not have many contributions. One contribution can save the world a whole lot of stress.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So it's in our position. What Osombete is saying, let's take a collective decision.
No, I think it's because of this idea all of the ideas of the graduates to have an empire for themselves. Yes. And say, oh, it must be this. All the siblings must follow that. Yes. The question from abroad, answer this one. We have a Zoom for one candidate. He will come after Professor Carafo. For candidate, please. For an adventure, this one. After this one, we'll take the person and go.
Good afternoon, Chairman,
Can give in less than 10 minutes.
members of the team. Good afternoon, all.
Substantive issues.
My name is Honor Chef and Adventure Children. My work is on UK group and levels, a study of intergroup relations in Imo State, 1900 to 2020. I come to the study. The work is about UK group 1900 to 2020. There is assertion by the Eurocentric scholars that African societies and efforts to change.
For this work is to disprove or debunk such assertion. Again, there is need to study the fragile nature of the society today. As we can see in the southeast and other of Nigeria, there are hostilities, unfriendliness, action, and blood spilling. This work tries to study the groups or the communities within the central area of Imo State to bring or to bring to the fore some of the historical ties and some of the elements that really galvanize or were vital in the smooth relationship among these people. Before 1900, that was the emergence of the Europeans in Igbo land. Ikegwu and her neighbors had mutual relationship. Their relationship were not caste-like. There was a web of mutually understanding relationship among these people. There are some factors that are responsible for the resilience of this relationship, and we are going to look into them. Some of these factors is that the Ikegwu and neighbors live in a close proximity. For instance, the people of Inisi Ikegwu and the other neighbors in Mbano could fetch ambers from one another to make fire. So this proximity accounts for one of the factors where there was one of the factors that led to the smooth relationship among them. See the of the study. The change brought by the colonial rule, Western education, Christianity, and Biafran war in interpretation in the area has later not received any scholarly attention. The history of many Igbo communities today, such as Ikegwu and neighbors, still live in the hearts of the elders and in the oral use such vital information if it is not. It's because important therefore to document them, the history of these people, since it is an important fact of history that human memory with time loses hold of such historical events. From the account of the book, the researcher investigates, interprets, and analyzes some of the findings for the use of the future generation. The study is similar to both. Through this research, Ikegwu and her neighbors are positioned in the right group historical term. Ikegwu and thematic scope. The scope. This study thematically deals with interrelation between and among Ikegwu, which was created out of the old Ikegwu and the Ikegwu government area in 1989 and her neighbor. Spatial scope. The geographical coverage of the study area covers Ikegwu located on longitude 7004 degrees east and 7014 east and latitude 5029 north and latitude 5030 degrees north. And her neighbors such as some bad numbers because the set and the way north, among others. Temporal scope. The study begins in 1902 and ends in 2020. This is the map of the area. Political framework. The work was conducted under two theoretical frameworks. One, historical materialism. This emphasizes on the progress of material condition or economic consideration according to Karl Marx and Engels, 1939. In the material conception of history that seeks to explain human history and development on the basis of material conditions. The economic factor in every society, therefore, is considered to determine her relationship with others and how to produce, distribute, and exchange the needed material necessary for human existence. Another theory to supplement this is the theory of mutual aid. This postulates that in all important questions of struggle for the basic things of life, human beings cooperate not just for the sake of social community, but indeed out of necessity. John Locke, 1989, was the proponent of this theory, and he argues that relationship between them relationship between people does not come out of necessity, but out of mutual rather than mere social association, driving force of the cooperation and association human beings enter, with which the fellow human beings in a given society. Literature review identified that the review so far made covers similar history, taking history and intergroup relations. The review of scholarly studies in Igbo land history have provided with historiography, methodology, origin and migration, social political organization and economic potentials of the region. An aspect of intergroup relations, so many materials.
Why don't you just speak to your work? Would you go on reading everything like this? Speak to your work. What's your methodology?
Methodology, method of data collection, oral traditions, library materials, archival research and technologies were used. Oral interviews were conducted among the communities and neighbors of the table. The structure interface with those interviewed while on the fieldwork. Tape recorded and documented information given by the respondents. I also put appointments and design based on table analysis. Deductive and deductive approach we are employed to strengthen validity of the oral interview. Method of data analysis, narrative methods that ensure the chronological and sequential presentation of the evidence used were adopted. Qualitative research method was used in the analysis and interpretation of the variable information from different sources to ascertain their validity, result and discussion. The group studied over time have mutually related under peaceful and conflictual situations or circumstances, such as colonialism and the Civil War. Results and discussions. The findings from the high tendency for private and community interests, competition for limited resources and space, occasionally cumulated to disagreement that resulted in skirmishes among these people, but they must not relate. The issue of intergroup relation is both the hostility and the cooperation. So that there are at times issues of disagreement due to interest and competition for limited natural resources. For the postural knowledge, the researcher has attempted to draw conclusion of the study that prior to the colonial era, the communities in the enclave known as Ikebu today and Lagos, like Mbise, Mbano, Mbitoli and Owerri, they are typically traditionally rural Igbo societies, and that the Dum group and the Ike group were merged together during the colonial colonization of the area to form the local government known as Ikebu today. Summary of findings. The research has studied intergroup relations in southeastern region of Nigeria between Ikebu and Lagos from 1900 to 2020. The study covers intergroup relations in Igbo land with emphasis on those of Ikebu and Lagos in the central area of Imo State from 1900 to 2020. The study has identified effort to examine the contour and dynamics of their relationship and the extent to which colonialism and Biafra war impacted on the people's intergroup relation. This study tries to demonstrate that the group relation is not a one-way traffic. The work revealed that autarky is moved out as no society can exist in total isolation and independent of the other. There is need for mutual coexistence and relationship. The study on community in Igbo land should be realistic. Scholars should delve in-depth study of the communities in Igbo land of their size so that no aspect of Igbo history and culture will be left out. The researchers suggested the focus and attention to be shifted to the network of links between the actual historic culture, which the colonial rulers met in existence on their advent, The use of cultural practices, traditional institutions, and racial political institutions as instruments for conflict resolution mechanisms in the area of diplomacy should be adopted in conflict resolution in our society to avoid calamity. Governments and policymakers should utilize the knowledge of the past in addressing issues of national concern and interest. Contribution to knowledge. This thesis has contributed to knowledge in the extent that it has provided a kind of blueprint for policymakers to deal with conflictual issues among communities in the neighborhood. It has established the two main factors, namely the colonial rule and the Nigerian Civil War. We are behind the conflictual relationship between the Kenya and Lagos. The research has provided in the knowledge domain additional literature in our research institution and the academic relations. Thank you. This is the researcher and some of the findings. These foods are locally made foods from the Kenya. Yeah, this is cassava. This is cassava. This is cassava cake. Then you brought some. Products from the Kenya.
It's not only your work, sir.
Thank you. Let's start from him now. Okay, topic.
What's that on you? Ownership.
Bring it forward.
And then we'll put on the job.
Other names can
No,
go.
I'm not there.
Any other thing on that page?
Yes, on that page, that ownership first.
Yes.
Ownership on a big particular. And
The thesis seminar submitted to graduate seminar.
yes. And then space the initials of your professors. There's no space between A and M. There's no space between S and I. Take note of that. Just shift each that space back when you go to correct it.
In the thesis seminar submitted to graduate seminar committee. Huh? That's not the way it should be. Wait. Huh? Okay. Abstract. The abstract seems to be too wordy. Normally we say it should not be more than 350. 350, 300, but then it should not be, can be less than that. In fact, the lesser the better. Don't just go by the maximum and say it must be up to 350. Let's look whether the essential elements are there.
Okay, just some what the ends.
Yes.
When you do 21st century, as 21st C, from 1, 2, 3. Oh, see, I'm not if you say anything, you're not there though. Noted, you've not helped me. 1, 2, from under 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where you have 21st, you see it should be fully 21st century. And then speak from under 1, 2, 3, where you have people. You know, you have facts, at least for words. You have also the same thing in men work, yeah, in your own place, it didn't differ. Because I didn't work. It's the same thing there. But that from like 3 from under, people should be as attest the Igbo while saying that. Does that mean anything? Just underline it. You will work there, yeah. Peoples should be as attest the Igbo, so I don't know what that means. At some point I was not checking if it's my own head. Then where he said journal, articles, I think he meant journal articles. So just look at this here work again. In fact, that's the major thing. Maybe as I will show you later in the main work. The main thing is that this here work, you will look at it again, even in formatting, everything.
Background. Remember that your background, these are bullet points, not this thing you are putting. Bullets. And be consistent with your word count, with your front size. This is bigger now. The front size is bigger, so reduce. Background, call it. Second page. Page 2.
Bullet 3. Bullet 3 reads, most of these neighboring communities of Ikedu and her neighbors live in close proximity. I should think that most of these neighboring communities of Ikedu live in close proximity, because it must be, it's repetition. When you say the neighboring communities and her neighbors. So strike off and her neighbors.
That's on page 2. Background of the story continues. Bullet 3.
No source or sources on page 2.
Most of the sources are more oral.
Are they oral?
Yeah, he said so in his oral.
No, I mean on the background. The background, page 2. You don't have any source there.
It's only Mbadisi.
Uh-huh.
It's only Mbadisi and the Chukwu in
Bullet 1, 2, and 3. Page 2. You don't have any source. Avoid writing as if you're a journalist. Right? So provide sources. Yeah? And remember I said they are bullets. Dark bullets. Not open space. Huh? Statement of the problem.
Wait, your statement of health problem, page 3. Is the last bullet there exactly what you are concerned with? There is an urgent need to investigate the circumstances that led to the claim by the people that the decision to allow the government to remain at their. What has this one got to do with the topic? What has it got to do with it?
Yes, the schedule was part of Ubicoli and Ikedu. And I'm struggling at Ikedu and a level. Ubicoli is a level to Ikedu. Prior to creation of Ikedu, splitting of Ikedu and Ubicoli in 1989, the headquarters of Ubicoli and Ikedu was at Ihon Ikedu. But Ubicoli has gone back to Road Ubi as their own headquarters.
Okay.
Allowing Ikedu.
Wait first. So, is this the problem why you are writing? Why you researched this? You did this research.
It's among the problems.
Give me a statement of problem. That's what they said. Not to give me problems that the Ikedu people have. Why is this work? Why is it necessary? What exactly is the problem? Why you decide to start this?
Why I have to
give me a statement.
Yes.
A statement.
Yes. To bring the relationship that existed between the kingdom and neighbors to the limelight.
What is the aim?
The aim is to make sure that the future generation will know the history of the people, and accordingly,
that's the aim of this work.
It's among the aims.
That is it. That is the aim.
Their aim is that they are tied to the wrong them of every problem you get in life. Their aim is tied to that they are major level. Then the objective through which you arrive at that level.
The statement of problem for this work is the interrelationship, or what did you say there? I think I saw it there. If you don't capture what you are working on, how do you even know if you have done justice to the topic? Ikeduru and her neighbors, a study of intergroup relations. So, do you know the intergroup relations among Ikeduru and her neighbors? Do you know? Yes. Do you know the intergroup relations? That is the problem. This is why I said, if all these ones you are telling me about, for example, did you capture that in your statement of problem? Yes. Oh yeah, look at it now. Look at the different things you are saying here. Eh? Please, you need to rework that statement of problem. It's just see, let me tell you, if you can't find the statement of the problem in the topic, that research topic is not researchable. Okay?
The second bullet. Third line. What do you mean by on a cherished landmark and ethos? What is Ikeduru's landmark, cherished landmark? Is it landmass or landmarks? Eh? It's page 4, aim and objectives of the study. Second bullet. Page 4, second bullet. The third line, second bullet. Say cultural and political alterations on a cherished landmark. What landmark is that? Page 4. Second bullet.
In my memoir, I started off Enugu Ikedu as the cultural rallying point of the people, which the advent of the colonial rule supported. But during the creation of the government, that Ikedu cultural rallying point was not transferred to Igbo. So my people still have all this, that there's a travesty of justice on them.
Yes, that landmark ought to be identified.
Yes, that is the Enugu Ikedu being upturned as the rallying point of the people. I quoted it in the memoir.
So, student, that's why when they show that picture as appendix, you were talking about food. They were talking food. That's where you are wearing that red shirt, that red cloth. That was the point. That flag is where you were from what. So that's a very important point. Conjecture. So the landmark of the program, colonial people. So it's not just for you to be thinking about
That's not what's so important to you. You went there and thank you.
It's a landmark that was so important that we have to wear a red shirt.
Okay, let's go. So we move on.
Yes.
Aim and objectives. The objectives of the study are to, more specific objectives. The objectives of the study are to, then small letters. All those bullet points you have small letters.
So I told you that you have to reduce your font size. Yes, I told you, huh?
Okay. You don't do research questions, right? No research questions. Okay. Significance of the study.
Bullet 2.
Yeah, bullet 2.
The history of any Igbo community is as Ikeju and our neighbors still live.
We said we have agreed that under significance, spell them out in theory and practice. Look, all of this now you went down to see the study is significant in both theory and practice after all this.
After giving us like 4 bullets.
After giving us 4 bullets.
So what is the first part?
What all these ones? These 4 bullets are left.
The first 4 bullets, what are the theory?
So take that statement up and explain what is practical and theory.
Okay.
In fact, the only
bullet. Sorry.
The only bullet there in that place is even open-ended. Theoretically, through this research, Pedro and our neighbor will be positioned in the right historical perspective in the theme of where is the interpretation in my own power? It's not.
This is what we say being painstaking. Very important at this level. Don't just do anything because I want to do it. I want to defend. Let me go. Take time. Go over it. In fact, go and sleep. If you are tired, go and sleep. Wake up and look at it again. You see all these errors. And your head is so jammed with so many things.
Right on the board there, on the PowerPoint. Look at the last slide there. That's how we have it here.
It's different. So what you have there is different from our own.
Okay. Is the neighbors of the field that caused it? Get the landmark.
Okay. Scope of the study. Do you have anything like limitations? Scope and limitation. I thought we have the scope of the study in the format. Yes, please remove that limitation.
Scope of the study. Delimitation. Yeah, that limitation is something I have to come up with. Yeah, something has come. I have come before. Even if you say only scope of the study, that's okay. If you put that limitation, let it go, don't worry. Just instead of scope and limitation, say scope of the study / delimitation.
Look at the first bullet.
You have to reorder that sentence. Your sentence is not properly. Look at the sentence. And our neighbors should come between Ikeduru and our neighbors. It should be. This study thematically deals with intergroup relations among Ikeduru and between Ikeduru and our neighbors. There should be a full stop. Then Ikeduru was created out of the old Ikeduru local government area in 1989. So rephrase it.
Let's tell the scope. Why is the map? What's the map doing there? What's significant here?
It normally tells already with regard to the place. And so we make sure that the provide that. It's pictorial.
Okay.
So it's fine to connect it.
So it's in order. Okay. Let's go. Literature review. Theoretical framework. Conceptual framework. Where's the conceptual framework?
For the legend, the explanation for the map. The dark side is that Nigeria showing Igbo land. That only Igbo side they have the Igbo land. It's the Igbo land. So that while you are using map, use correct map. You use a map that shows Igbo land. Okay. The other smaller side. Okay, and then blown up the other way. Okay.
Where is the conceptual framework? That's it. Literature review.
What's optional? The format says if any. The format says that, yeah. Format says consider framework if applicable.
If applicable.
So if he remembers to say that, then we'll let it.
Okay. Supervisor, please. No.
Is it not applicable?
No, it's not applicable, right?
No.
Okay. Theoretical framework. Theory, are they okay?
Look at your sentence. Complemented is not I, it's it. There's a difference between complement and complement. Okay. Page 10.
Page 10, that's literally COMPLE complemented.
Will be complemented with the theory of mutual aid.
Page 10. What line is that? What line?
It's not complement of the
It's talking about the theory of the historical materiality of the after that, we get the case.
Those options, boundaries, lands, and economic units, all those things are the elements that work in crisis. Because the computer elements that
One house, please. Let's have one house.
My observation is that the historical materiality has, is focused on studying society, understanding society from the point of view of the economy, the substructure, and the superstructure. So when you are talking about applying this theory to the table, did you elaborate on the sub structure of the table economy? And then how does that affect the superstructure?
Yes. Like as I said, it was an economic consideration. This only talks about economy as the major factor that leads to operation. And related, I said this that most of the conflictual issues we are born out of issues that concerns land disputes, boundaries, and the relocation of this local government now from Iho to Islam and Enugu has a geographical economy. So this economic aspect actually affects the relationship of the people.
Come on, let's move on.
That's what I'm talking about. We have not done that work.
To our partner.
What's your gas?
Let's go to gas.
What about
What is this?
what is this people culture and government of Igbo
Is
land?
that not a review of concept of what?
Is there a very good review of what? You mean the people culture and environment?
It's part of the literature review. The works and the read alongside. Because in their good relation, as I studied it, they have basic things. They have Igbo land, also as it concerns the Igbo people. So there are some of the works that talk about Igbo people.
So under what meaning did you now have these ones that you review? All these ones that are talking about.
Empirical review or literature review. You do empirical review.
Is it under empirical?
This is empirical review.
Oh, you didn't put it in. It's not there. No, this is a literature review continue. Under literature review continue, you have to have empirical review. So you that people, culture, and environment of Igbo land.
Prof, if you know when they say something is optional, it means that or if applicable. Right, and from what you are saying, they say this is not applicable. This concept of Igbo people and culture, where does it belong to? Something like relation, talking about relation, intergroup relation. How did those concepts? How did he?
What of intergroup relations? What is intergroup relations?
Conceptual review.
These are conceptual reviews. What I'm saying here is
These are conceptual
it's not even
review.
only this alone.
They're not applicable.
After people, culture, and
And
environment,
yes.
we now have history, people, and culture.
These are
We now have understanding inside.
So what are that? Conceptual and concepts. So applicable.
So
Put them in the appropriate
please
place.
bring in your conceptual review.
Conceptual review now. It's not applicable.
Please bring it in.
Okay, I should make this one to comments.
However, I want to give
Anyhow you want to do it, but define your concepts. Define those concepts that you make us understand what you are saying.
You are not the one to tell you what you
So that conceptual review. These concepts you are talking about.
Yeah, concepts. Then you look at people called this. Then that one is the empirical review as well. Page 12. Page 12, empirical review. The review of the literatures. Nothing like review of literatures. The review of the literatures in Igbo land will begin with the work of Afibo. Review of the literature, not literatures.
Which one review of the literature? Is it
I don't know.
Is it that's the other empirical review?
Under empirical, I've told him. Empirical review.
What empirical review?
So just begin.
That we've done in
And
related areas.
don't tell us that it will begin. We begin with the work of this thing. Just
No, just go ahead
go ahead and tell us.
what the work is all about.
Yes. So that will do under that. So this understanding intergroup relations, what is it that?
that understanding that
Is that not concept?
It's a concept. The other concept, those ones are another conceptual review.
So bring all of them back.
You said they are not applicable. These are concepts that are reviewed.
and then when you go back to and read their work, you have so many sentences that end the way that sentence doesn't end. If you don't understand that this discussion is important,
No, what?
Trying to bring out such. I think after the defense and the department, we're trying to make it short. So
They should be complete sentences.
as PowerPoint.
So you try to bring back the remaining part of the sentence that are missing.
Then summary of literature review. / identify gaps. That's what should be the heading there.
And then you have that one back as a subject for 15.
Yes. Page 15. Summary of literature review / identify gaps. Then again, your last sentence there. This is novel and fill the gap of our knowledge with regard to the full stop. Or no full stop, sir.
You see that the page number is on top of that last sentence.
It's incomplete.
Are you seeing it?
You submitted it. You submitted the work.
It's you that will know now.
No, leave your own. You submitted yours.
To show that you're not mistaken. Do not give your
You
time.
should look at all of them to know to be sure that they are all complete.
Next page, colleagues. Methodology. Not research methodology, methodology.
And then, Chairman,
Yes,
the
sir.
last time you joined us for defense, that what they said is that we must put research methodology at graduate school. That is, it doesn't end with methodology, and that's why we started putting it. I think somebody in fine arts just defended now, a few days ago, and the dean and the secretary will always remind you this research methodology. And that's what we'll be having it methodology. They said, so then put it. So
It's not in their format.
no, it did. I mean, they are a phone call away.
Even when they see methodology, materials and methods,
even when they say the onus is on us to tell them this is what you recommended before, this is what will be using. So how is it that you people are not consistent?
Council research.
Why should they you know it's a research. So why should that put a research?
It's just like the one you talked about now. Summary of findings. You need under summary. Then summary also review, stash, identify. Those are some of the things that they keep, coming off. And anyone they say we should do.
Okay, let's go. Let's see under methodology. Let's look at this methodology.
Yes, sir.
But that's not what he did. Yeah, but it should be initial caps. All your headings should be initial caps, not capital letter. Methodology. Results and discussion. All your results and discussions, no source or sources. You don't have any source.
We've said earlier that much of what we did is original work, so a lot of oral interview. So the sources are not actually permitted as you should have it using APA. So even at the back where you have compilation of the literature, the references, you don't have grid lines, so you can just provide some of those names like that. Then in the main work, he uses in-text to say how we do that is say personal communications this year and that person's name, personal communication that year. So that's how it is.
Is it for the data or for the data?
I don't understand what you mean. No, where you are doing
referencing.
Yeah, the referencing method, the in-text for the oral data. That is how we go about it. APA would not
specify. No problem. Because you actually specify how you should reference such material.
I have just told him, for example, what we do, and at the back how it's contained. Almost, in fact, it's not put as an appendix.
For the data that collected information from.
Yeah.
That was the difference. Look, I thought we were talking about references from literature review.
Literature review was take normal.
Okay.
You can bring in the reference sources.
Yes.
Please take note.
Yes, I can hear you.
Then on page 20.
You don't have to share a slide.
From discussion. From a posteriori knowledge. From is it a posteriori? That word is a posteriori. Huh? So what's wrong with that? Huh? What's wrong with that? You say yes.
Posterior, it's talking about the word.
A posteriori. What do you mean by that? A posteriori? Huh?
The knowledge we have done. You are using almost like as this laptop.
So what do you mean by posteriori? By posteriori knowledge, what are you trying to say?
Posterior knowledge.
Is it a posteriori? No, that word there, posteriori. Is it a posteriori?
Which page?
Apostle, page 20. First bullet. No, he has not been able to tell us what that word means.
The information
Existing before.
existing before.
So why don't you put it clear?
That's not the meaning of the word. That's not the meaning of, and it's not even the correct spelling.
There should be an I in front of that.
Yes.
There's an I in front of R, a posteriori, RI. It's knowledge based on experience.
This one is
That's what it's talking about. It's a philosophical concept.
That's not I.
It's a philosophical concept, okay? Knowledge based on experience, a posteriori, means after experience.
Is the A space?
Yes, the A is spaced. So all of that, no source, right? Good source. Let's know its source. Yes. Summary, conclusion.
Line 4, sorry.
Okay, line 4.
Page 20. They use the word contagious communities. I think they are spreading disease. Contagious. It's continuous. Continuous.
I want, please, can I take you back a bit? I want you to explain this. You said you use inductive and deductive approaches to strengthen the validity of the oral interview. What exactly did you do?
After interviewing my respondents, I will examine their information.
So what is the inductive approach?
The inductive approach is that I analyze it and then make a rational decision based on my findings from them.
And the deductive?
The deductive, from what they said and what they replied, I can now have influence.
What is the difference between what you have just
The
said?
difference is that I have to apply my own knowledge to examine. Not all what they said will I take verbatim. I will make this examination and juxtapose. It's not the same like deductive. It's not the same like deductive. Inductive and deductive. Induct and deduct. So you are evaluating, as you said, from your own strengths and knowledge and that then, but this is what they have said, you are driving that from that. Then,
So you do actually analyze it.
like I, on a particular issue, I will interview up to 10 to 20 persons from different areas.
So you have different,
Yes.
you have different questions.
No,
Or
not
you have
questions. The
items.
respondents. I will interact with them on a particular matter. Interact with candidate A, candidate B.
On different matters.
No, on a particular matter. On a particular matter, to know actually.
So it's a structured interview.
Yes. Particular matter. I have photograph of some of the people I interviewed.
Did you have a transcript of your interview?
Yes.
You have a transcript of the interview.
Yes.
Okay, we move fast. The next presenter already hooked up. Summary, conclusion, and recommendation. Page 21. Summary, conclusion, and recommendations. That's the main title, the main heading. Then summary of findings. Reduce the font size and put initial caps. Summary of findings.
No, up here.
Yes, summary, conclusion, and recommendation. Conclusion. Contributions to knowledge. Let's look at his contribution.
It looks like a
That
bullshit.
shows you are not sure.
For policy.
Or it may not be
study. Is that the main contribution? Is that the main contribution? What's the main contribution? That would be an additional, or what can I even consider as a significance of the study? Is that what your work attempts to do, to provide that blueprint for policymakers? Did you capture this from your gap? See your gap, this blueprint. This kind of I mean, you are not here with us. You are not. Yes, I'm saying contribution, and you're saying the kind of blueprint for policymakers. And I'm asking, is that the main contribution? Huh? So what? What's the contribution of your work to scholarship? This study of intergroup relation, what's the contribution?
The conclusion is that the history of the people that is given our neighbors in the term of intergroup relation. It has provided with their history. It has provided with their history and prosperity. So it's not as a guidepost for the future generation.
Do you do that? Is it part of the gap? Is it the gap you identify to be able to make your conclusion, arrive at the conclusion you are saying now?
Yes, from the gap.
Then why are you talking about a kind of blueprint for policymakers? It is a blueprint for policymakers. That means there is no contribution.
Yes, noted.
Please. Yes, sir.
Let's lose it. Chairman, let's lose it.
It's important that we finalize this. You know, if you look at the objectives, so he has a challenge in the neighborhood, that is Ikeduru and the environs, the communities around Ikeduru. Starting from Ikeduru itself, Ikeduru amongst Ikeduru, and then Ikeduru and other people. There have been issues, sometimes leading to communal crisis. And now, he was talking about Iho, a place that they cited the local government area, which caused problem. And he also said that if you listen to what Yanko Jiku said yesterday, that Nnamdi Kanu is likely to be released. The president is agreeing to that because they are noticing that there are criminal elements who are riding on the wave of him being in incarceration and causing problems. But they are criminals. They are not IPOB supporters. So if you go to the central area of the land where he is studying, all such things are going on, and it's leading to conflictual relationship between people, which ordinarily shouldn't be. Then he is saying that what Europeans did from 1900 when they came to 1960 when they left, and what this, for example, bringing local government administration and then centering place of administration, and then what people had in their ancestral relationship, that this is the first son, this is the second son, unlike when you took somebody that was not even a freeborn to make him a warranty. So he in the submission, that's gap he's feeling, that he is opening the eyes of the people using the research result to see that you don't need to have a field between and amongst yourselves based on some of these that look, and policymakers should also adopt such to help, bring peace and order, harmonious living among the people. So sometimes when some of these questions are asked, it's not saying in a better way. These students, let's make them explicitly clear because we are here to help them. We are bring them down. I'm not saying for the case of this candidate. So because they are on a hot seat before them and make them see the light those questions are being asked. The reason for which you have gone to do this research. So you had the challenge. That's the point you're saying. Did you fit the gap? He didn't know what was narrating. So that's why I said I should bring that information up. Did you okay? That what made you to go into that research? That yes, you found 2 lines of historical knowledge. That colonial rule, was it not what you wrote? Yes. Brought some of those to the area. And that during the Civil War, just like what's going on now, people are cashing in. During the Civil War, people who had personal issues settled them on the basis of the war.
Okay. Capture the crux of the matter. Because at the end of this work, this presentation, what I was actually expecting to find as one of the major finding is what is the interrelationship between Ikeduru and Ikeduru and its neighbors. I should be able to take that away. But I didn't get that clearly. I'm getting the historical thing.
Now, in history, we do history, as the dynamism of relationship. Now, from 1900 to 1960, Romanians were in charge. And they turned upside down, some of them. And then from
What is the interrelation?
mutual and conflictual.
That is the what is the answer to that question? If you are going to give me a synopsis, just give me a few words.
The people have related both peace and conflict situation. During the Biafra Civil War, and when the war came to Ireland, most of the people left, and
In other words, their relationship is in conflict and also in peace.
and it's like that everywhere around the world. Everywhere, people, there is no place you have after peace. There are uneasy relationships, but what history is always trying to do is to find out what happened, what transpired, what's given to this. When such conclusions are made in solving social problems, then we have studied. Thank you. Okay.
Prof, I will give him the main work. He has separated a lot of topics for me. So there's no time.
End it.
All right.